Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, the 17th day of November 2016. The news is so incredibly critical, so over-the-top important, that I'm really praying to the good Lord above that I can be very calm and go over all this, because it is amazing what's happening. It is incredible. This broadcast we have lined up today, some of the special reports we're going to go over today, it is just so revealing, so thought-provoking, eye-opening. Where to begin? To watch the mainstream media radically intensify the race baiting is head-spinning. And in fact, I just saw a new article pop up on Infowars.com, and it's a special video report by our investigative journalist, John Bound, that I so often start the show with, his daily reports. And it says it all, because I was thinking, what do I call this when I come on air today? He said it. Right as I was thinking about it, literally, like, how do I open the show talking about this total race cult? And there was the headline: mainstream media is a cult of racist mind control. MSM hanging on to the little amount of trust they have left. And that's it. And I recognized this big push last Wednesday when they said, ooh, Zuckerberg's in trouble with the Democrats and the big banks. Zuckerberg didn't censor enough. He didn't shut off the fake news. I was like, fake news? You mean the fake pollsters? The fake media lying, giving the questions to Hillary beforehand, then launching all these wars and killing millions of people? You mean those type of lies? No, I knew what it would be. And so I announced this last week, and there have been hundreds of articles, conservative. There were like 30 or 40 yesterday I saw. I couldn't even read them all. I read 2 of them. Here's one of them from Gizmodo. It says, I'm completely insane, and that fake news isn't a move to censor my website. This came out yesterday. Fake news. This is ridiculous. No one's coming to censor me. Guess what we found out had already happened yesterday, ladies and gentlemen? You know, Alexa dropped DrudgeReport.com, Infowars.com by more than 80%, along with thousands of other libertarian conservative sites. If you're not anti-American, you got delisted, hoping it would hurt your advertising, claiming just suddenly, they didn't even phase it in over a month. They just suddenly, on one day, dropped thousands of websites 80%. Alexa caught fixing rankings to target anti-Obama news sites. We've grown so much, though, still the graphs has the liberals going straight down and us going straight up. I was talking to Watson about this. He said, yeah, they always try to censor us. We'll just kick their ass again. I said, I love you, Watson. I really do love his fighting spirit. So that was a couple years ago, October 15th, 2014, is when we learned of it. Quantcast blacklists Infowars as fake news. Free speech purge accelerates. We're the opposite of fake news. We're the cutting edge, over-the-horizon radar weapon system, and everybody knows it. Oh, we're not real news. I just talked to Donald Trump a couple times last week. Oh, yeah, let me drop some more news on you. Oh, we're fake news, ladies and gentlemen. I happen to have the very inside baseball. But this kind of story doesn't even interest me, because it doesn't politically decimate the enemy, but it's big news. I happen to know what's going on at Trump Tower right now. I happen to know a lot of things. Oh, but we're fake news when Pulitzer Prize winners come on here, like Cy Hirsch, and thank us for our work exposing how the government runs ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Oh, we're fake news, all right. No, we're the opposite of fake news, and we'll go where people are scared to go. We'll go where no media has gone before. We will tell it like it is, because you know what? We know that you can handle the truth if we're going to have a free society. You can handle the truth. So we have a completely weaponized, foreign-owned media that is completely deceptive, spewing fake polls, fake announcements, fake news, lying about Donald Trump, being caught hundreds of times doing it, twisting information, lying about yours truly, completely arrogant, disconnected from the people. Trump goes to a steak dinner the other night with his family, doesn't tell the press. They have a conniption fit. This is all about Trump breaking protocol with the establishment. They have a heart attack last week when he goes to D.C., leaves D.C. to go back to New York and doesn't tell them. They're having a bigger heart attack because I told you this last week, not because Trump or any of his people told me, but I know how Trump works, that he would end up saying he's going to spend a lot of the year in New York at Trump Tower. It's not surrounded by spy agencies. It's more secure. I know the Secret Service doesn't like how secure the White House is. That's well known. They want to build a big barricade around it. This is about breaking with convention. Because we've had globalist convention for a long time where they run things and they set the parameters and they define everything. If you go up to drudgereport.com, C-SPAN has a live feed of the Trump Tower elevators. They're on Fifth Avenue in New York, and the comings and goings as Trump forms his government. We've got a link up on Infowars.com as well. But that's what's happening here, is it's about breaking with the system. One of the other big talking points the last 48 hours is that Trump is incompetent and can't form his government because he began to make good on his promise to remove the executive branch, that's only 4,000 people, of anyone who is a registered lobbyist. So they're having to call the people in, have them basically give them the codes, the keys, where the bodies are buried, what roofs are leaking, what needs to be done. They're calling in the lobbyists. They're having them give them their Rolodex, their digital Rolodex, and they are saying, thank you very much. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. For the first time in modern history, we're actually seeing them deliver on not stacking their operation with lobbyists. Now, most people in D.C., revolving door, into government, out of government as lobbyists, it's going to be very hard, quite frankly, for Trump to keep this promise. But he is trying. So they take him delivering on a promise, or trying to, as another bad thing. They take him going to a steakhouse as a bad thing. They take, the claim that he's vetting people very, very carefully, that he's in disarray 63 days out. Meanwhile, Obama vacationed more than any president in history, launched at least 3 massive wars, continued another major war. Under his watch, it went from $2 trillion to $6.5 trillion that is missing from the Pentagon. So it took 50-something years to build up to $2 trillion, but in 8 years, it doubled and then grew again from $2 trillion to $6.5 trillion. The incompetency just continued on from there. Obama promised to cut the national debt in half. It roughly doubled in 8 years. From 1776 on until Obama got in office, it was a little over 10 trillion. Now it's right up at 20 trillion. And they say it will be by the time he leaves office. So all of this is happening. All of this is unfolding. And I'm going to air a special report at the bottom of the next hour where I chronicle some of the incredible failures and corruptions and mismanagements that we've seen bipartisanly under the Obama administration. Undoubtedly the worst ever. The persecution of the press. But what about the handling of the Arab Spring? What about opening up our borders? What about advertising with Europe to flood Europe with jihadis? Meanwhile, Trump finishes his buildings ahead of time, under budget, every time. Meanwhile, Trump had the most stamina we've ever seen on the campaign trail. But the media takes those strengths and tries to turn them into weaknesses. Now, speaking of weaknesses, if you're a TV viewer, you can see this. Radio listeners will want to go to Infowars.com. Hillary reemerges looking like death warmed up, or death warmed back up. Clinton resembles an extra from Dawn of the Dead. And folks, she literally, I overuse the term literally, because when I say she looks like Day of the Dead, she actually looks like someone laying on a slab at a morgue. And when you watch her give the speech after being, gone for 7-8 days, she looks incredibly ill. This goes to the arrogance, the hubris, the bravado, the chutzpah that the establishment has to try to put a woman in who's having seizures on a regular basis, who's been hospitalized off and on for years. We're going to be getting into that as well. We have NBC News is blaming hate crimes on Trump and Stephen Bannon. And then I have so many clips every day of black people and Hispanics viciously beating up white people for no reason. We all know about the knockout game. We all know about the fact that it is predominantly black Americans that are doing this, some Hispanics, and that it's just escalated all over the country. And when they report to the police what's happened to them, and sometimes it's caught on video, they're told, you're white, so I'm going to mug you. I mean, there's just incredible footage, ladies and gentlemen. And there's also cases of white people attacking white people, because that's the thing to do, because if you're a Trump supporter, you deserve to die. And by the way, if you run up behind somebody and hit them from behind on stairs, it's a good way to kill them. And some whites are being attacked even though they're not wearing Trump regalia. So this is the real bullying. This is the real intimidation. But we have MSM trying to turn it all around, and then they can't find any clips where Stephen Bannon is saying anything racist. But they don't care, because they know they're targeting TV heads that don't even really watch the news, who just kind of pick it up as a rumor and then run around acting all put out and angry and they've been wronged. It's drama queening. It doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't do anything for you. But for whatever reason, it makes you part of the in club, fighting the evil racist that wants to cut people making $40,000 a year's taxes to zero. A man who wants to have make-work projects and major investment in black areas, and who has talked about tax incentives specifically for black Americans, letting you keep your own money. Not reparations, just letting you keep more of your money. This is a complete joke. A man who got awards from Jesse Jackson for hiring record numbers of black Americans and promoting them into management positions. Long before he ran for president, black Americans love Trump in New York City because they know how many people he hires and promotes that work hard. Trump famously broke up clubs that were so racist they didn't let blacks and Jews play in them. Those were still around just 30 years ago. And would actually go in and bust up the unions in California and in Florida and in Connecticut, and got awards for it. What does he get? A bunch of dumb, racist blacks and Hispanics calling him racist because the media has brainwashed them. And there's a new John Bowne report that crystallizes all of this up on Infowars.com. Mainstream media is a cult of racist mind control. They don't want you debating real issues. They don't want you taking up your birthright of free market and wealth. They want CIA Anderson Cooper to sit up there and race bait and divide and conquer. Look, I know our audience knows that, but let me tell you, we should be very happy right now, even though this is sad, because the mainstream media has not learned anything from what happened. The establishment's not learned anything. They're taking everything they were doing before the election. Things kind of went quiet for a few days, and they doubled and tripled and quadrupled down under George Soros's admitted orders. That's in Politico, who's now going to spend billions, not hundreds of millions, but billions a year, creating absolute breakdown of society. But again, they're so disconnected, they thought they could run a corpse, a corrupt, horrible, evil woman with all the baggage and all the wars and all the corruption and all the lies and all the WikiLeaks info coming out. They thought they could run her, and when she was 20 points behind, 15 points behind, say that Trump was behind. And then they still tried to steal the election, but his win was so supremely gargantuan, such a legendary landslide. As I told you, they were unable to steal it. And he had a electoral college mega win and lost by 500,000 votes popular vote, when they admit 3 million illegals have been confirmed to have voted and over 5 million dead people voted. Let me see. You take out 8 million people that voted for Hillary that were fake or illegal or dead people voting. And so how much? So now he won by 7.5 million votes. Just dead reckoning. So how are they going to strike back, though? They don't have new tricks, but they take the old tricks and they kind of refurbish them. They've been putting us in spamware, malware databases for about 18 years, Infowars.com. So when you buy a disk of software from McAfee or whatever, not that McAfee did this, but the new McAfee, people can't at libraries get into our website most of the time. People can't get into other systems. I'm going to skip this break. This is too important. Because we won't have a show soon if this continues. I'll just walk off. How's that sound? And I'm not going to intend to do that, but I might for a while, just to protest all this. I mean, I'll shut it down for a while. I'll put everybody on furlough for a few months and maybe never come back. I've actually thought about that just as a demonstration. Oh, you want to censor me? I'm just gone. How about, imagine the shockwaves that would send. Because, we're getting 30, 40, 50 million views a week. During the election, 85 million. Imagine that just goes away. At least for a while. That might get folks' attention. And then if other people went away for a while. Because that would make the media then 10 times more deceptive, and that might even wake up people in a zombie mode. I'm thinking reverse psychology. I'm not intending to do that, but sometimes I think about it. This is a war. This isn't about being up here on TV and people knowing who I am. I could care less about that. I'm willing to give my life for this fight. This isn't about being a peacock like these sellout people on mainstream media who were so arrogant they ran a corpse for office, knew she was losing, and thought they could still steal it, and now are only intensifying the same tactics. But what they're going to do is come out with what they call fake news. I told you this last week because I saw them salivating going, Zuckerberg must be punished. He didn't shut down the fake news like we told him. Well, that'll kill the website and its stock. So Facebook already has the worst censorship out there. Twitter's a close second. Google wants market dominance, so they've not been the worst. They've been the best. Still bad. Still bad. Apple's horrible. So from hate speech to fake news, the content crisis facing Mark Zuckerberg. I love how Hillary and the mainstream media define things. They define anyone disagreeing with their criminality, from WikiLeaks to InfoWars to Matt Drudge, libertarian, conservative, liberal, doesn't matter. People of conscience, informed folks, people that care about civilization, they define us as alt-right, like alternative media. Doesn't matter, we're bigger than they are. They control reality. They run corpses for office. They run fake polls. They tell you she's invincible. And they tell you that we're the alt-right. And we even accept that and go, those of us here on the alt-right. No, those of us that aren't insane control freak criminals. I told you 6 months ago that Beck is going to be the new apologist, the true Judas Iscariot, who goes on CNN, who goes on MSNBC, and says, I apologize for horrible conservatives. They're demons. And then Anderson Cooper and Axelrod and everybody else sits there and interviews him, and he apologizes for it and says, Stephen Bannon is an evil racist. Trump is horrible if he doesn't get rid of him. Who the hell would listen to you, you little piece of crap? You Benedict Arnold? I mean, on election day, and then the next day, he came out and said, I guess I can support Trump. I hope he'll be nice. I said, he's suckering you in one more time to pull you under the waves. He's a frickin' ghoul. Just look at him. What do they have on this guy? He looks completely insane now. But by the way, Beck is totally degenerating if you're not looking at him on video. I don't attack him as another talk show host, folks. I attack him because he is a true enemy in our ranks. He is a despicable person with a CIA officer, a leftist Ford Foundation operative, assigned to highest levels of government, Anderson Cooper, who himself is worth tens of billions of dollars in hidden assets, one of the richest families in the world. And you have to sit here and look at these race-baiting, class warfare pimps. And we have Senator Reid calling for Trump to cut ties with Stephen Bannon, his chief counselor, because he's an evil anti-globalist and knows what's going on and knows how the real media works. And there were hundreds of articles yesterday, and CBS and NBC and ABC and CNN. I can't even watch them all. White House, Trump, you must break ties with Alex Jones, the racist. No proof. And Alex Jones that says Sandy Hook didn't happen. And they take a clip out of context where I'm wargaming that, man, the media lies so much, I guess you could say no kids were killed and none of it happened and it's a whole total hoax because the media lies so much, who knows what's true? That was me responding to them saying, I'm saying it never happened. I'm attacked by the folks that say nothing happened for saying, yes, Anderson Cooper's using a green screen. His nose disappears. Yes, they had the kids going in circles back in the buildings. Yes, the building was closed years before. Yes, it was filthy. Yes, no emergency helicopters were launched. Yes, they're sealing the death certificates and everything. Yes, I even know FBI agents that say they think it's suspicious. But I can't believe they're that bold. And so, no, they set it up like, you don't think this mother's real? Oh, no, I'm sure she is. But were the polls fake on election night? Do they send the questions to Hillary beforehand? In the WikiLeaks, is there talk of supplying kids to hot tubs for, quote, entertainment for people? I mean, look, folks, did Hillary put jihadis in control over the world? All I know is there's no level these people won't stoop to. So they take that out of context. And look, he says no children ever died from mass shooting. I never said that. I said you use these events and then package them and don't let a good crisis go to waste. Bare minimum. We've hosted debates by the journalists that say Sandy Hook is exactly like they say it happened against people that say it didn't happen. And then we get attacked by both sides for quote, covering up. The truth is they've had national polls where upwards of half of Americans don't believe Sandy Hook because they don't believe a word the mainstream media says. We've sent reporters up there, man, and that place is like Children of the Corn or something. I mean, it is frickin' weird. And then the weird videos of reported parents of kids laughing, and all of a sudden they do the hyperventilating to cry to go on TV. All I know is something's going on. And you don't like us looking at it. You don't like us questioning you. Fake WMDs in Iraq. That killed over 1 million people. The media says Trump was never against the war. I have 6 clips of him against the war. We could play them again. That's fake news when they sit up there and say none of this exists. And now, Quantcast. Alexa, 2 years ago, delisted thousands of libertarian, conservative, nationalistic, veteran sites, gun sites, you name it. They dropped our ratings by 80% with an algorithm to make the liberal press that was imploding look good. And that's all documented. Now, nobody uses Alexa, owned by Bezos, that works for Obama. Now, Quantcast, after we pointed out that we were 167 last week, I said yesterday, go see what we are now. And they said, oh, boss, we've been delisted. And it's been loaded into Google Chrome. I said Google isn't bad at censoring comparatively. No, comparatively. We're loaded into Google Chrome as a fake news site. So the real headline is Google says we're fake, and Quantcast takes that antivirus feed, basically. And so we're fake, ladies and gentlemen. We told you Donald Trump was going to win. We told you he was going to win even blue states. He did. We have the top Democrat, liberal, election fraud expert who has documentaries, best-selling books on, and she concurs Hillary stole multiple states but still couldn't beat Trump. So now we meet the leftist assistant professor who made up bogus list of fake conservative websites that went viral. And now they act like, oh, it just came from some random lady. No, it's whoever they want to add. They then just put it into the databases. They have trolls that go around and list things as fake news. And we're now about to be in the fake news war. So where we are is this, that the word conspiracy theory is now a laurel. The word conspiracy theory is now a red badge of courage. The word conspiracy theorist means, oh, they don't want you to look at this. Oh, this is unorthodox. And orthodoxy is lying, deception, discredited BS. So the new word is fake news. And of course, who's it come from? Bloomberg, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, the people caught rigging the debates. We told you she already had the questions. Oh, that's ridiculous. She had them with Trump. She had them with the Democrats. She had the whole thing. We told you Gary Johnson was working for the Democrats and that his VP would come out and endorse Hillary 1 month before he did. I have the sources. You notice it happened. And when I say I can routinely, if I need to, talk to Trump, I mean Trump or Trump's people who are patriots and who are awake. That makes the globalists so upset because they want access to the red carpets and crap. I have my own thing. I don't want to go to the inauguration. I'll be out with the people with a pro-America, pro-restoration of the Republic demonstration that I can announce here first. I'm in the trenches. I have my own thing here in Texas. I have my own thing, my generations of Joneses and Ayers and Hammonds have built, and Johnsons and Browns. I got my own deal down here. My own deal. I don't even talk about my own deal. My own empire. Here. I didn't use any of that empire to build this. I built it all myself because I have the genetics. I don't need to be with you. I don't want to be with you, with your red carpets and all your crap. Understand? We're going to build spacecraft. We're going to build space stations. We're going to build life extension. We're going to come together as a species and go to the stars. We're going to beat all of you pushing tribalism and race crap to divide and conquer us. You people are a joke. And so, good, delist us, say we're fake. They also have all these fake sites where they do flood fake news, which looks real to also, it's like jamming. I'll explain it all when we come back. So we have the sycophantic, degenerate, deceptive, America-hating media that always think of it this way. It's like a wild hyena wanting to prey on you and your family. Leering in arrogantly, coldly, hatefully. All competing with each other to see who can be the nastiest. Like Tapper on CNN talking to a congressman, the horrible Trump attacks on Hispanics and blacks, the brutal physical attacks, and he's like, where is it? Show me. And he's like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, all I see is videos of black people beating up white people. And he goes, oh, why do you bring up their race? And the congressman starts laughing, going, this is what this whole debate's about. It's what you're talking about. And then Tapper keeps saying, but you brought it up. They're like trying some type of weird gaslighting, which is a CIA term where you punch somebody in the nose and then just go, I didn't punch you in the nose. And you just keep denying you punched them in the nose. And then some people are so weak-minded, you go, really? No, you fell down. I didn't punch you in the nose. And especially if you have like 4 or 5 people, they'll all start punching you and then saying, no one's hitting you. No one's hitting you. No, you're all alone. You're all alone. You're all alone. They're actually trying this on us. It's not working. But they can't believe that they can't hurt us anymore. They can't believe they thought they had us. They thought it was all over. They thought they could piss on your family, piss on America's name. They thought they could mount your head on the wall because they're little, horrible, evil, demonic people. I mean, let's put Tapper back up on screen for TV viewers. Look at him. You know he was a bully in school. You know he's a punk, a coward, an empty piece of crap. You would want to have dinner with him. You wouldn't want to be around him. He is your enemy. Do you have any idea how much he hates you? I'm going to start really being honest with folks up here. These people are your God-sworn enemies. He doesn't want you to do well. He doesn't want you to have a future. He wants to dominate you. These are conquest monsters. He is a scientist with talking points to hurt you, to ruin your future, to make sure you're poor, to make you a basket case, obsessed with race or where you came from or what you look like instead of what you stand for and what you build. He's a dream thief. He's a destroyer. He is the enemy. You want to ask, everybody asks, what do we call them? The enemy. They are the enemy. They are the deceivers. Will you please pull up names of the devil? There are hundreds of them. If you want to know who they are, it is the names of the devil. The accuser, the deceiver, the liar, the persecutor, the evil one. And I don't say that for demonization purposes. That's who they are. They were chosen because of their spirit. The destroyer, the evil spirit, the great dragon, Lucifer, the devil, the adversary. Let's look at more terms. You have to break with them. You have to not just laugh and say, did you see what they did? These sons of wickedness, these spoilers, tempt our children with free health care and free school. They're never going to get any of it. They are the adversary. They're in your way. And what did Christ say? Get you behind me, Satan. Anderson Cooper, Tapper, all of you, get behind me. Get out of my way. What does that mean? Get out of my way. Stop impeding human progress. That's why they call themselves the progressives, because they're there to stop the progress. Anderson Cooper has to run everything. He has to squat in the middle of everything with his billions of dollars that his mommy gave him and just squawk and crap all over everything in a big, giant spiritual diaper. And again, they have to dictate, You're alt-right. You're fake news. We define. We control the words. You listen to us. We don't use the word mommy and daddy anymore. Somebody might not have a mommy and daddy, and that hurts them. You got a mommy and daddy, and that's bigoted. It's a frickin' cult, man. An absolute cult. When you look in the eyes of an Anderson Cooper, you're looking at someone who wants to prey on you. But the thing is, you're not a prey animal. You don't have to be his prey. You can shake him off like fleas. And we're starting to shake them off, so they are, again, not reorganizing, not backing off, not even trying to act like they're going to reform and be better. Well, because they wanted to lie to us, they first said, oh, we've been proven wrong, we've got to stop all this on Wednesday. Boy, that was only to sucker you one more time because they feed on that. Oh, we caught them again. Because people were kind of, oh, they said they're going to stop lying. Did you see the New York Times? I'm like, that's totally to sucker you in, to have lesser magic and feed on you. And again, I'm not into all this stuff. They're into it. If they can con you in a little way, then they can con you in a bigger way. And their whole world is about hurting you. As soon as you understand that, you'll understand everything. Their whole world is about disdain and just their focused wickedness to abort as many babies, have as much depleted uranium blowing around, have as much environmental degradation, as many wars, and the ugliest, most horrible, demonic cultures of radical jihad spilling out across the world, women in bondage, giant prisons everywhere, supermax prisons, dungeons, human suffering, hell on earth. And they hate it when I go ahead and announce them as the devil. Oh, he's discredited. He called us satanic. And then it comes out they're satanic. Oh, keep doing that, Alex. Oh, yeah, keep calling us satanic. Oh, don't worry, I will. You inhuman, blood-sucking demon, vampire, scum, I see you. Filth. Can't stand red blood, can you? Can't stand strength. Can't stand it. Want it dead. You pieces of filth don't drink red blood spiritually. You try to kill life. Try to shut it down. Everything with them is a lie. Everything you hear in their mythology is the inverse. People are going down, ladies and gentlemen. Filth. But just remember, you want to know who hates you? Who hates you night and day is CNN. The New York Times hates you night and day. The Washington Post hates you night and day. MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, just look at her. Ravenous, hateful. She hates her own femininity so much she's waging war against it, withering away into anorexic collapse. Because it's all she can sacrifice is even herself. Let me get into news here for you. Oh, Google's Chrome has listed us as fake news. Oh, no, Google. Oh, no, Quantcast has delisted us because we just had this devastating victory of truth with our stories all turning out to be dead on, super smart bomb accurate. You're just flipping out, panicking. And you just knighted us again. You just gave us huge new trophy awards. Treasure chest with the public. Oh, see, I told you it was a conspiracy theory. When I said last week they're coming under the guy's fake news. Now there's the headline. Here's a list of fake news from something called Complex. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, the Free Thought Project. Oh, so evil. Oh, Occupy Democrats. Oh, it's anti-Democrat group. Oh my gosh. And I love how they say the Blaze is fake. When that's their own minion running around calling for our websites to be shut down, and Benedict Arnolding, even he gets his throat slit. And of course they just list it. We're God. We list it. We call you a conspiracy theorist. Oh, that doesn't work anymore? We call you fake. I love how they still say, Alex Jones is an internet radio host. What does that mean? That I made it mainly in the free market of ideas and dominated everybody on my own like DrudgeReport.com did? I don't have really any peers except DrudgeReport.com. There's really no one else that's been this big by themselves on their own. And so they don't say, ooh, let's study this or figure out why it's so successful. No, we'll just announce it doesn't exist or it's fake. Oh my gosh, that's called being delusional. Wonderful. And as our numbers go up and up and up and up on our real metrics that's hooked right into Google, I can watch Google say we don't exist. That's the coolest thing there is. The name they dare not utter. The one they dare not say. They just say, you know, Mr. President, they're saying there's going to be a massive election fraud this season, and you're planning to federalize things. Well, that's ridiculous. You know, that's out of that Texas, and everybody's, oh, yeah. The press corps knows what Texas means. Oh, and then even later when he says my name, it's like, did you hear the president said your name? Oh my gosh, I've arrived. The president said my name. Will Google relist me? Will Google say I exist again? You have to understand, they're the delusionals. The people that serve this system are treated badly. They don't get paid a lot of money now. They're on the losing end of it. They're on the end of the road time. They're during the collapse period. They weren't during the high hog sell out America 20 years ago. Oh, no, no, no. Now, a little historical marker. When your leader looks like an undead corpse, looks like the end of a mop, and is psychotic and murders people everywhere and is involved in all sorts of evil, you got a problem. That's your goddess. That's your queen. That's your Lord and Savior. That's who you say is your North Star is Hillary Rodham Clinton. All right, let me run through some of these videos, get to more of this news, because we've got guests coming up today. Mark Moreno with big news on these bastards and how they want carbon taxes and all the things they're up to. And we've got Jesse Ventura joining us, and I'm going to, really, not so much take it to him, but I've got some serious questions for him, because he says, oh, I'm going to vote Libertarian or whatever. Gary Johnson was the Democrats. And this is a true grassroots repudiation, taking over a major political party. It's a beautiful thing. But also get into some of his concerns about Trump, plus some of his positive points he might have, and take your phone calls. But I've got a bunch of clips I want to play. They're up on Infowars.com. One of them is by Darren McBreen, where we show real racism, whites being attacked. And then we show Funny or Die and all these other things showing fake racism. So they create simulated racism where Tom Hanks goes on a show wearing a Make America Great Again hat, but then he won't shake hands with a black person. What the hell kind of made up simulated crap? People should be insulted by this level of fake news. Can you spot the racists, mainstream media, causing racial tension in America? And again, I've asked them to change the name of the video, because what it really is media caught promoting fake racist events, covering up the real ones. Because this video needs to go viral. And I'm going to do another one, too, along the same line, where I sit there and I point out, I came in early this morning, I got here early, and I even worked for 10 minutes to change that headline. I guess it didn't change. Well, I tell you what, sometimes I don't know. And the whole country just, the country's fighting for its life right now, but it's so obvious the globalists are out to get us. It's so incredibly obvious how over the top, committed to abject evil they are. But we were all raised on television, and even people that are halfway awake are TV heads and they're Twitter heads. And everybody's kind of distracted doing this and that. Nothing's really serious. Nothing's really focused. And it's when you're in that mindset where you don't really hear what people are saying and it just kind of goes by you that they get you. And then they got you. And when they got you, they're going to drag you off to their rat hole and have their way with you. So I'm sick of it, and I declare war on all these people. I am absolutely done with all of it in triplicate. Because this is a group of lawless, evil criminals that work for multinational companies that have sold us out to the communist Chinese. And we're so pathetic, they're now openly taking over Hollywood to complete the collapse of the United States. And I see all these so-called leftists that are really just criminal dirtbag groups that hate humanity celebrating our collapse, celebrating children being killed up to 9 months of age, being kept alive for their body parts, celebrating dehumanization, celebrating collapse, because the truth is they're ravaging psychotics that hate everyone. The truth is, when you look at these Hollywood producers and these TV people and these directors, and you wonder why everything's so distorted and so twisted and so crazy, because they're totally empty, they committed to evil, they are not happy, and so they commit more and more and more and more to evil by approximation until they're totally turned over by absolute self-hate and self-loathing. And they usually end up committing suicide, thank God. But not before they get to that point and kill those around them. And if they can't physically kill you, if they can't physically rape your children, if they can't physically grab your daughter or your wife and torture them in a subterranean basement, they will culturally do it, and they will do it with fluoride in the water and GMOs and chemicals, and they enjoy watching you mutate. They enjoy watching you die. They enjoy seeing you helpless. They enjoy seeing you in panic. They enjoy seeing you desperate. They enjoy seeing you betrayed because they are devil-possessed, okay? Bottom line, just you get to the end of the day, these people are frickin' demons, okay? Whether it's intergalactic, whether it's spiritual, whether it's genetic, whether it's whatever the hell it is, or there's some group collective and they jack into it, they're all the same. They think they're better than you, they're scum, and they're out to get you. And here's a little newsflash about Donald Trump. He's not perfect, but he's like a big old sheepdog. He doesn't like these people. He doesn't like the fact they think they're better than him. He doesn't like the fact they want to screw over poor people. Donald Trump likes to run over rich people that get in his way. And I'm the same way. And that's why they hate his spirit, because they know he's better than them. And that's the message of the New World Order. We're the ones that are better than you. We're the real news. We won. We told the truth. We were accurate. You put all your forces and everything you had into it, and it blew up in your spiritually wicked, ugly faces. You have been so arrogant that you have celebrated on TV 500,000 dead Iraqis by starving them to death. Madeleine Albright. That's the kind of people you are. Thank God. Can we all just thank God that we're not you? Can we all just thank God? I really want to thank Jesus Christ that I do not come from a line of scum like this, and that I am not a absolute demon that hates everybody. And I just thank God for America and this chance to rebuild. And I pray we have providence and we overturn these people and we defeat them, and the spirit of awakening spreads across the country and the world that will bring this devil system to the ground. And I pray that the control of the corporate Rockefeller churches that are teaching the end of the world constantly so that Christians stand down, I pray that Satan's control over the church in America be broken in the name of Jesus Christ. Let's be clear. I'm in. Let's be clear. I'm not on some high horse that I'm Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, but I love God. And I know the enemy's plan. And I know they run those churches. And they want to tell you don't fight evil. Romans 13, to keep you under their control. So that when they do build this system that they want to get done, it's God's time when they finish their system that then causes the ultimate choice between good and evil. But we're supposed to be within that system working to wake people up to the beast system the whole time, not in big mega churches with some dumbass devil-worshipping preacher. I'm going to tell you, a lot of them are devil worshippers, guaranteed. Think I'm joking. Look into it. You got this devil-worshipping preacher up here with this bunch of idiots in front of him, and you have no idea what you're even watching. If you had any spiritual feelers, you would know when you get near those things how damn devil-filled they are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back on the other side of this break. I got a bunch of clips and a bunch of news I haven't gotten to, but we now know the enemy's new attack plan is exactly what we thought they'd do. By the way, it's now being announced they're going to move to block Breitbart as fake news. How obvious is that? The guy that heads it up is the chief advisor to the president. I mean, this is the media waging war against Trump, against you. This is a group that thinks you belong to them. The arrogance is the key word. Evil is the other key to understanding it. Now, Darren McBreen put out this video that's up on Infowars.com where the media has been caught covering up real racism, but then promoting fake synthetic racism. So, again, it's up on Infowars.com, media caught promoting fake racism, hiding real racism. Let's go to this video.
If you watch late night comedy on television, chances are you've seen Donald Trump and his supporters portrayed as racist. Now, most of us know that that simply isn't true. Trump supporters come in all walks of life, and Donald Trump himself is not a racist. No, he is far from it. But the mainstream media and the Hollywood elite want you to live in the land of make-believe. And I put together a quick video compilation of the real-life racism that is rapidly spreading throughout the country right now, and I compare it to fictional, manufactured, and imaginary racism. Can you spot the difference? Let's take a look.
The media's been saying some pretty negative things about Donald Trump. But what are real Americans saying?
Why do I support Trump? 3 words. good at business.
You know what? Hit pause.
True.
This is beyond that. That's the whole fake racism from Funny or Die, and of course, they have it on Saturday Night Live. But it's not just that they're creating images of people with firewood and tractors and rural communities and then saying that they're KKK members and they have a cross with people dancing around in the background. It's that they're saying whites are inherently racist and are inherently bad and are these evil people and are your enemy. So it's beyond just claiming Trump's a racist with a fictitious Klan rally with actors. It's insulting their audience, thinking they're so stupid they're going to buy into this. And then it gets worse. On top of it, they sit there and then say Trump's really a racist on national television after they put out this propaganda and then totally ignore the daily events. I've got 3 videos today of whites being brutally attacked because they're white and because of, quote, Trump. But none of that's shown by the scum in Hollywood that is out to divide this country. And again, showing rural areas, showing suburban areas and saying, this is the enemy, this is the problem. You could never move out in the suburbs. You could never have your own house if you're Hispanic or black, because then you wouldn't be paying rent to the big inner city bankers. You wouldn't be paying rent to the people that run Chicago and New York and D.C. You might escape, and we don't want you to escape, so don't leave the city. That's where the racist, evil white people are. Stay here where the real racist white people can run your rent up and run your life and put you in a prison we own. Let's continue.
He is a racist, but for some of us, just being a racist, it isn't enough.
I don't know what it is. I just like
How original, a guy in a Klan outfit. That's so original.
Don't just say that Trump is a racist, bigoted, sexist, totalitarian, and ignore all the bad parts in his platform.
Ay, Donaldo, eres tan malo.
¡Ese soy yo también! ¿Vas a dejar que estas encuestas...
They don't let the polls get you down.
Anything in the rice?
Yeah, I'm sure. Think so? There's enough racists in this country for him to get elected.
All right, pause. That comedian, all his stuff's about race, Hispanics being racist. He's like a KKK member in my view, but a Hispanic one. And they think the public's so dumb, we don't know that Hispanics can't be racist or blacks can't be racist. It's just all a big joke, and that's what Hollywood wants, and the corporations want all this race baiting. They order people like him and Robert Rodriguez. I know the inside baseball. They ever want to say it's not true, I'll just roll it all out. How you meet with the White House, you get your walking orders from Soros. You know, I think some of that's going to start coming out. I think we're just going to have to take the old gloves off, aren't we? Stay with us. Yeah, well, Melissa Zemtard, that's her name, Zemidars, is a professor. Oh, my gosh, she knows everything. And she has created, thank God, a list of fake news that Google then put into Chrome that now other sites are using, like Quantcast, to delist InfoWars. Wow. There's no racketeering there. There's no attempt at torturous interference. There's no libel. There's no slander. There's no defamation, Cupcake. If you ever actually hurt us, you're guaranteed a lawsuit, sweetheart. But you know what? You're not going to hurt us. You are so dishonorable, you empower us. And they mix a few parody sites in, like a parody site of Drudge or a parody site of Politico, with some other real fake sites, which are just parodies, they're not fake, with Breitbart and WorldNet Daily and Infowars.com and Prison Planet. Why PrisonPlanet.tv is fake. Did you know my films and the nightly news? All of this is fake. Let's put her on screen, folks. It's like the fat lady at Snopes. She has a cat, and she lives in an apartment, which is fine to have a cat and live in an apartment. It's just she now controls reality. Why Snopes? Snopes said Hillary doesn't have any illnesses. Snopes said that Obamacare was free at first. Now, when it came out, it wasn't. They changed it. But you know what? Everybody knows Snopes is a joke. So there you go. Activist post. Oh, that's bad. Oh, Prison Planet. Oh, my gosh. This is so horrible. The Jones Report is fake. We don't even update Jones Report. It's like defunct. Like a knockoff of the Drudge Report, one of my guys did. InfoWars 1 and 2, it's all fake. Oh my gosh, we're so horrible. Well, listen. You don't need a spectrometer like to tell what metals are, what ore when you're mining. You just walk this lady and she just smells it. And she tells you if it's real or not. WorldNet Daily is fake. Zero Hedge is fake. Yeah, because they break so many big news stories. Well, there you go. And of course, they don't list Drudge as fake, because Drudge is links to news stories most of the time, but that's who they really want to go after. The Federal Elections Commission and others have said that. Because how dare us have free speech during a campaign? I'm going to bring this up to Mark Moreno coming up, but this shows you where they're going. It's called massive censorship. It's what the bad guys do, trying to shut us down. That's their new answer, is to, quote, demand that Facebook and Twitter and Google all delist everyone when a professor who's in the trendy circle gives the order. Maybe she'll tell you what to cook at night for your kids. I mean, we had Melissa Harris Perry at MSNBC say we need to get over the idea that kids belong to their parents and that the kids actually belong to the state. That's not authoritarian or anything. No, the truth is we are very, very far down the rat hole, and there are hundreds and hundreds of articles. When I say hundreds, I mean hundreds a day, saying Stephen Bannon must step down from the White House. He is racist. We learned this magic word, racist, 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 and Alex Jones is racist, and how dare Donald Trump talk to Alex Jones. And they are so freaked out that I'm somehow in the loop a little bit. I don't care about being in the loop unless Trump stays honest to his principles. I'm at a big risk backing Trump if he goes sideways or the wrong way. I'm not in the system. I'm not getting some banker paycheck or some George Soros paycheck. I'm here in Texas. I did things all by myself with my listeners. I didn't have big corporate money. I did it from zero, from Access Television 22 years ago. So I keep trying to explain to you, they think if they could trick Trump into, not communicating with InfoWars, that somehow that would hurt me, and of course it would really hurt Trump. But it doesn't matter what Trump does. As long as he stays true to his principles, I don't care if he never talks to me again. What I want him to do is cut the taxes and restore the republic. That's the only reason I want access to Trump. Look, I've been pretty nasty in the last hour because the criminals, the foreign banks, the corporations, the media whores and traitors that they have put in power over this country are just the most despicable, nasty, envious, greedy, selfish, horrible, lying sacks of crap you could ever imagine. I mean, I have so much disgust for them, it's beyond hatred. And I need a vacation from just looking at them and being around them. But that's the great part about Hillary Clinton. She can now fade off into oblivion. The word is from Trump Tower that they're using Chelsea, we knew this would happen, to lobby Donald Trump's children, one in particular, to not put Chelsea's parents in jail. Well, Chelsea, we all know that to cover your butt, you said, why are we killing Haitians and keeping all the money and letting the UN poop in their water supply and give them cholera just to cover your little butt? You still took the $6 million a year. So don't think that little ruse fooled any of us, where you're all over the foundation being defended as someone trying to expose the corruption. The fact that you didn't do anything about it makes you an accomplice to it. So I think you need to have your butt locked up. How about that? You parasite. They want that cancer now to run for Congress. The daughter of Webster Hubbell. How about no thanks? Your mother looks like she came back from the dead. And the latest emergence that we had from the cave dweller yesterday. And now you've reemerged. And just how about you take all the stolen loot and hope you don't get it indicted? No, you're never going to give up. The smell of civilization drives you into a rampaging fury, and you want to pull it all down. But the video of Hillary looking like she's undead is up on Infowars.com. We knew it was coming. Mark Moreno, who is in a third world nation right now, and I guess he's in Morocco. I guess that's kind of old world, you could say, covering the latest UN activities. They've called for his arrest before. They're calling with 15 different state attorney generals to arrest anyone that denies climate change. It was global freezing, then global warming. Now it's just change. Oh, I don't deny climate change. Man-made climate change is not something that can be controlled, metered, or taxed, and it's just a power grab, and you admit that. Your own internal documents are there, but we now know they are going to come out, and the new term is a conspiracy theorist. It's fake news. And so they've had Google come out and list Breitbart News, not as cutting edge, not as changing the world with Infowars.com, but no, as fake news. Infowars has been listed as well. And so on Quantcast and other places were being delisted. Libraries were being delisted. People are unable to get to it through their browsers. It's flashing up messages that says Infowars.com is fake. So fake, when they announced last Wednesday their new fake news initiative to, quote, clean up Facebook and Twitter, I said, watch, that'll be us. And they even have a Gizmodo article out yesterday making fun of me, saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, that no one wants to take my free speech, even though at the time of them writing this, Infowars had been listed as fake news by Google. So see, I'm so fake. I am so fake. I am so full of disinfo. I just keep breaking down and predicting everything that's going to happen before it happens because I know the enemy. So this will seriously make your head spin. But they're here. They have listed, I didn't check, is Climate Depot listed as fake news now by Google through its Chrome browser, which then again is accepted by libraries and government institutions and Quantcast as the mark of whether it's real or not. Google is now getting into the serious censorship business, going to give Facebook and Twitter a run for its money. And Facebook's saying that they're going to go off this list now and start blocking everyone. Or warning you, warning, don't go to Infowars. You know, it's like my dad saying, warning, stay out of liquor cabinet, or warning, don't look at the Playboys. I don't think it's going to have the desired effect. But again, these authoritarians are crazy. It's like when Hitler was starting to lose the air war in the Battle of Britain. And he said, okay, let's just start bombing civilian targets. That'll make the Brits give up. Oh, that's a good one. I'm sorry. It's just hilarious. Of course, it had the opposite effect. So Mark Moreno, one of the leading lights fighting global governance, and it's the star in its crown, carbon taxes. He's been to scores of UN meetings. He's at one in Marrakesh, Morocco, right now. They're in the middle of the Mediterranean Ocean, and all of this is unfolding. But I got to tell you, it's crazy to have the New York Times come out in 3 different articles. Well, one of them was somewhat fair, but 2 of them said, I'm insane. Global governance doesn't exist, but also globalism, Mark Moreno of ClimateDepot.com. Did you know it doesn't exist either?
They'll deny right before they claim that they actually utter the phrase global governance, and then on one hand, and then they'll claim that there is no attempt to centralize power, and they're not out for central planning. But that is the entire purpose of the United Nations UN Climate Summit.
Now, what is happening there in Morocco? What has brought the great Mark Moreno there?
Well, this is the first climate meeting.
Well, when I said third world, I was right. We've lost the feed.
It does not need Senate ratification. So I decided yesterday to do a segment with we were going to shred the UN Paris Agreement, and I happened to have a life-size Donald Trump next to me. I had a Donald Trump hat on, Make America Great. And lo and behold, the media unexpectedly swarmed me. I'm talking 30, 40 cameras, media, including CNN, the Associated Press, you name it, swarmed me. And I got out about it. You can go to Climate Depot and watch the video. I got out about 2 minutes before armed climate cops from the United Nations swarmed on me and literally forced me out of the climate summit during my presentation.
And, sir, we're showing the video for TV viewers right now. We sit around and joke about this. They're censoring us. They're censoring everybody right now. They're announcing they're going to basically shut our websites down if they can. And then here you are with armed climate police saying the press isn't allowed to talk to you. I mean, this just shows total authoritarianism.
And by the way, the reporters seemed genuinely offended. They were screaming after me. CNN reporter, they wanted to do an interview with me. There was no way the security would allow CNN near me. We had the Associated Press couldn't get near me. We had Indonesian television. They just swept me right on out of there, and they actually got the Donald Trump. It was a life size, actually a little bit larger than live stand-up, about 6'5", and they turned it around away from the crowd. They did not want his face. And I got to tell you, this was just a segment I was doing for a TV station, and it turned into this sort of impromptu event because they saw Donald Trump's image. This was literally like vampires recoiling at the sight of a cross. That's what I witnessed here. When they see Donald, they are just in horror. They're in, and if you go to they're in deep denial at this conference. They cannot accept that he's going to be the president of the United States.
By the way, I should add, we sell your amazing film, Climate Hustle, that also shows all their attempts at censorship at InfoWarsStore.com. I mean, this is such a war. What phase are we now with the authoritarian left globally? Because it seems they are going into pure censorship mode, Mark.
They really are. In fact, when the security forced us out, this was out of bizarre, I don't know if it was the Hunger Games or what type of movie. We were in the middle of this bustling conference, center of attention, getting all this, basically talking to the entire national media. They efforted us right outside the fence. And by the way, don't anyone tell you that the United Nations doesn't believe that building walls works, because this entire compound is completely walled in. They threw me outside of the wall. They opened a gate and went into a demilitarized zone, if you will, and it was about 10 football fields of desert, blinding sunlight, and I had no one wandering the desert, completely lost with no direction. They just tossed me out of the conference. And then So they just
threw you out into the desert. This is incredible. There's footage of it. So think about this. They have walls, and that's their model. Once they collapse the global economy, they admit they're going to go to a city-state model where we're all poor outside the walls.
Yes, and that's exactly what I felt. They throw me outside the walls. And then, and I actually have video I was trying to get you, but I haven't been able to because of the third world Wi-Fi here. But then we actually have the footage outside entrance of the conference. And by the way, this is Morocco, so it's a Muslim monarchy that rules this. So the local police are very aggressive. You can't even go in downtown Marrakesh and pull out your cell phone camera. We got hassled by police immediately. They do not want cameras or film anywhere. But what happened was they came up to me, two United Nations security guards, and they started going through my bag, and they started confiscating papers. I got reports other people had their phones confiscated.
So let's be clear, UN police, even off the UN building.
On camera, and they're blocking my film. They won't let you. You'll see them covering the camera.
This is something you've got to go to the U.S. Embassy with and make a big deal out of. This is big news. UN police basically shook down a U.S. reporter, and they weren't even on a UN facility.
Yeah, well, we were outside. Now, that's the question. We were outside the entrance, outside the security, outside the big wall that they built. So I don't know, they may argue that the entire complex is in their purview, but they confiscated my material, put them inside, and left us.
Stay there, Mark Moreno from Marrakesh, Morocco. Incredible. This is all, told you, it's censorship, folks. By the way, folks, Mark Moreno has been set up for over a week. I wanted him to come on post-election before we even knew what was going to happen. And I'm here telling you about censorship all day. I'm so busy that they tried to brief me about how the UN police went after him, but they always do that. I had no idea they grabbed his stuff, did all this, and notice the whole theme of the show is the censorship is intensifying. We don't just go, oh, get Moreno on because he's getting censored. It's happening to everybody in live time. Infowars.com is being delisted all over the country. 15 attorney generals have been meeting wanting to arrest Mark Moreno. Okay? So, Mark, I know you're there in Marrakesh, Morocco. I want to get you back on as soon as you're out of there terrible phone, and I know you have trouble hearing me. We got 5 minutes left. You've got the floor. Talk about this, where you see this going. The left, the UN is only intensifying. I really tore into them last hour because I don't have words to describe how nasty and authoritarian they are, and I don't know why we're putting up with it. I'm really going to the next level of being angry.
Yeah, what they've done in terms of this world, the climate world, and again, there's so many different angles that they're coming at us from, but this week specifically, they've ramped up the most absurd scare stories. Things like Donald Trump's presidency is, quote, game over for the climate, unquote. They're now saying that global warming is altering our genes, and we're being genetically modified, if you will, by temperature changes and global warming. And they're actually now, it's an interesting argument because they're blaming marijuana crops they're getting too moldy in, I believe it's Washington State, because they're getting too much rain. Well, if you follow this, global warming is supposed to make marijuana more potent, and global warming is supposed to cause marijuana crops to fail as well, to actually get improved. So they're coming out with a whole bunch of scare stories. We have the former French president threatening the United States with international sanctions, essentially, if we pull out of this treaty. They're pulling out everything they can to put pressure on Donald Trump not to back out of this UN climate treaty. And, you know, Donald Trump has many options. He can actually submit it to the Senate and they'll kill it. He could actually withdraw from the entire United Nations climate process, which is my personal favorite, because then the next president won't be able to necessarily easily undo that. And I think the entire mission at this conference is money, 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 and securing this. I'm talking that we're handing out the film Climate Hustle to all these delegations. We've met with many of the African delegations from Gambia and Chad, and all of these delegations are signing on to the UN treaty. This is abhorrent. I'm here in Morocco, Alex. They have stuff that looks like it belongs in Little House Prairie. We're talking about horse-drawn carts through the city. We're talking about open sewage. We're talking about...
It is the ultimate racism, telling the entire third world you cannot have industrialization. That's what it is. It's an enforced new dark age by eugenicist, racist, environmentalists who know exactly what they're doing.
And John Kerry has had the audacity to show up here, and he is now trying to threaten and bully Donald Trump by saying that it's Donald Trump's ideology that's going to condemn billions to death due to global warming and sea level. And it's the exact opposite. It's ideologues who reject basic climate data and are trying to claim...
I agree. Here's the good news, though. We are politically kicking their butt. They're in panic mode. What comes next?
Yes. Well, what comes next is probably the greatest scare campaign in the history of the environmental movement. In the next 4 months, they are going to put on every scare. Do not trust any data coming from the United States government at this point. The lead NASA scientist, a guy named Gavin Schmidt, who replaced a scientist who got arrested half a dozen times protesting global warming. And the previous NASA scientist, by the way, the head global warming scientist, endorsed a book calling for ridding the world of industrial civilization. This new guy, his name's Dr. Gavin Schmidt, he replaced him, and he's the protege of that guy. He's threatening to resign if Donald Trump doesn't toe the line, basically, on global warming.
It's time for Trump to appoint somebody who's real. Think about how arrogant these people are.
Yes, and we're having a lot of fun saying, yes, this is another benefit of Trump's victory. Get rid of this guy. I will report on how this guy has a history of errors and mistakes and data manipulation.
Let's put a guy who's against science as the head of NASA. Let's put a guy that wants a post-industrial world in the in the head of NASA. It's like saying have Hitler run the ADL.
Well, what's funny is they'll claim, well, this is NASA, the agency, that's responsible for our space program. And actually, the space astronauts themselves have written a letter condemning NASA's climate claims. So the actual American hero astronauts have condemned this part of NASA and realized...
Oh, it's all a giant fraud.
So, but they're going to hit Donald Trump with everything. Now, the good news is, real quick, Alex, and this is an amazing thing to watch, because Donald Trump was literally ostracized by the Republican establishment, he is now forced to reach out to people like Myron Ebell, his EPA transition head, who is a solid guy who understands how this entire global warming, both domestic and international, works. We are going to have people in power that
stay there. Do 5 more minutes. Do 5 more minutes, because we've got to go to break. And this is very exciting. Stay with us. Well, I told you last week they're going to come and try to restrict our websites, start not letting people get to them on Facebook, Twitter, and Google. And they are announcing that now. Breitbart, InfoWars, and hundreds of others that are not anti-American, that are telling the truth, that report on things like ClimateGate, when the hackers got the emails where the UN was hiding declines in temperature and engaging in fraud, and talking about how they were going to raise carbon taxes on people and shut down industrial development selectively. See, it's economic warfare because the UN and the top corporations will decide who's allowed to operate. And Mark Moreno is the former top congressional advisor to the Republicans and to Senator Inhofe. He heads up ClimateDepot.com. We'll go to our next subject here in a moment, but it's the same thing. Massive censorship, massive control. They're being exposed. They are only intensifying their efforts. But you were getting into the whole Trump transition and how great it is the Republican establishment attacked him the whole time because now we're getting some really good people. You were saying it looks like that may be involved. So, Mark, please continue.
Yeah, because he was ostracized by the establishment, we are getting appointees and potential nominees that a President Bob Dole, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, a President Romney or a President McCain wouldn't even have contemplated. And we're getting, for the first time in American history, a president who has nothing but contempt for the media and doesn't care whether they like him. And that is probably the single most important thing that we bring. And the media just doesn't get it. Even here, they don't get that the more they ramp up their climate fear to try to put pressure, and the more they ramp up, all kinds of sanctions against the United States to try to put pressure, it's going to backfire. They're still operating under the assumption that Donald Trump is going to act like George W. Bush and care about all the things that have traditionally worked, turn Republican presidents into essentially no.
They still think they've got a globalist in there, and the Lilliputties have got America all tied down. As reality dawns on them, what do you expect them to do? So far, as I said, they're only intensifying censorship, arrogance, control. It is truly sickening to behold.
Well, I've actually seen what I expect them to do is immediately Think Progress, I believe, the Soros-funded group, today or yesterday is starting some kind of fund, like a investigation fund against Donald Trump. They're gonna start really and hard on anyone associated with his administration. It's going to be the most unprecedented smear campaign in the history of American
But they're so
politics.
discredited. It's wonderful. They've taken the gloves off. Thank you. They've only escalated it. Don't forget what came out a few months ago in WikiLeaks. He wants a UN body that's now quasi in control of the internet to decide what's real news and not, and give preference to, quote, their news organizations. So we're already pretty much seeing this with the new fake news initiative trying to delist all of our sites that, of course, are dominating. Wow, they're going to really try authoritarianism, Mark.
They are. And one thing, people say, oh, well, Donald Trump's a deal maker. He'll give it. And here's my point to that. If you go back, I believe it was 1988 or 89, he was on Oprah Winfrey show. That Donald Trump was an America firster, a anti-globalist, and that is the core values of his personality. It's not something that, he's ever switched. If you go back, 30 years, he's been consistent on that.
Sure, there's a reason they're panicking, Mark Moreno. Briefly, tell me about some of these transition folks you think are involved and some of the good people he should be appointing.
Well, everything from what I've seen in terms of health and human services, the energy department, a guy named Mike McKenna, who's another, just a great pick. These people who, again, Bush administration would never contemplate, because these are not establishment people. That is one of the biggest things you want to mention, is that if they're part of the establishment. Now, I know we have Reince Priebus, but at least it's a yin yang with with Bannon. But I think what's happening here is because Donald Trump has been out there in terms of on an island without the Republicans. No one thought we could have easily the most pro-freedom first term of a president since at least Ronald Reagan, 1980. There is no other comparison. And Reagan's real revolution only lasted about 2 years. By 1982. Reagan was already raising taxes and not cutting spending, and by the
that's right. By the time they shot him, they got him back in line. Mark Moreno, thank you so much. We ought to pray for you, support you. They've already tried to have the UN arrest you. They've already robbed you. They've already thrown you out into the desert because you dared talk to the media, talk to CNN. They saw that and shut that down. It's so liberal. ClimateDepot.com. We are carrying your new amazing award-winning film, Climate Hustle, at InfoWarsStore.com, where folks can simply call toll-free 888-253-3139. Joining us from Marrakesh, Morocco, where the UN is desperately trying to meet at this summit and ram through their carbon taxes meant to keep the third world in bondage. Mark Moreno, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Wow. Anthony Gucciardi was already coming in to talk about a couple different items, but I got so angry last week knowing they were going to come and try to shut down access to Infowars.com. And then here I am in the paradox watching them do it and watching them separately put out articles saying it doesn't exist, it's not happening in over 100 platforms. Total mind control, because they know their liberal readers aren't for just shutting down free speech. So they shut it down, then they say it doesn't exist. I mean, I have all the articles here, hundreds of articles saying Trump must disavow Alex Jones, ABC News, NBC, CBS, a massive total attack of this fake news show that told everyone last week the new attack will be, quote, on fake news. First, it was a conspiracy theory. You know, there's the Obamacare is free and you can keep your doctor and Santa Claus is real. We told you that wasn't true. Santa Claus isn't real. Their answer is to try to delist us. But now the people they delist, they've delisted Breitbart.com, which is, again, the transition chief Bannon, and Bannon is in there. The transition chief is Pence, the vice president. But the man that's overseeing it, the chief counselor to the president, this is the disconnect. Here, let's just delist the news site of the president's chief counselor, and let's just pretend it doesn't exist. These people, it shows, folks, if they got full control and Hillary ordered us arrested, they would be for it in a second. And that's what I keep saying. I'm breathless right now, folks. These people are a clear and present danger. They are, I mean, they are so evil. And I know why I'm freaking out. I'm not just watching the end of America in front of me, but the paradox of America being reborn. They're trying to kill it as it's being born. They are openly pulling out all the stops. They're going to try to kill Trump. They're going to openly flood the borders more. I mean, the country is under such attack, and I've got to be honest, the rage I feel, tempered with disgust and just almost nausea, looking at CNN, MSNBC, and all these people, it's gone to a new level. And then their goddess, Hillary, they rolled out, looks like she's from Day of the Dead. And just all of it is too bizarre. Why do all these people worship evil, worship failure, worship screwing everyone over, worship having the country collapse, worship ugliness, Anthony?
It was only a couple of weeks ago when we were on here talking about Quantcast, and Infowars.com was as big as BBC.com. Remember that? And then 2 weeks later, Quantcast delists Infowars from its ranking website. And what's interesting is when you get into the idea of fake news, there's a lot of fake news out there, 100%. If you go on any social media platform, you've seen it. It's all completely fake for some of these websites.
And
but it's
connected to the Soros group, flooding similar news to ours, but lies as a jamming. I call it jamming.
Basically, yeah, they buy a domain that sounds somewhat official, like StarTribuneConservativeNews.com, and then it's all a bunch of BS, and then they say, see?
Which is what the left does. Notice, let me prove who's behind it. In fact, we need to do a piece on this. New Yorker magazine now does like a third of their stuff satire, but it's not satire, it's fake news. Notice what the Onion's always done. We expose FEMA camps, real bills. They do a fake C-SPAN, almost the same, but then give a fake bill number. It's used as on purpose to jam the public. Go ahead.
Well, I think what's interesting and what's really concerning is the idea that someone's going to determine what fake news is for the readers, right? So it's one thing to say, sure, the Onion is obviously, it's all satire, it's a joke. It's not fake news, it's a satirical
but you don't delist its ranking.
Right, right.
And by the way, they didn't delist its ranking.
Right, but they get to decide, someone gets to decide what fake news is. They also have some like stranger websites like Collective Evolution and stuff. It's more like weird metaphysical stuff. So if they get to decide what's fake, though, then that goes into mega Orwellian level where, okay, are they going to be able to tell Google what to de-index? Are they going to be able to tell Facebook what to remove from their algorithms? What does fake news constitute? Does it constitute something they don't agree with? Because here's the best thing, though. It's always pushed things like this when there are actual real issues, like there are fake news pieces that are, going viral, making people money. But then they use that as kind of like a Trojan horse to get in. And then they say, well, there's also this fake news website. Breitbart is a fake news website. Infowars is fake news. It's like, it's like what?
And let's expand on that. Let's expand on that. We're absolutely on target 99% of the time. We are cutting edge. We are over the horizon radar. We are just absolutely exploding because we're so different and we understand the paradigm. And their answer is try to shut us down. Their answer is don't talk to Alex Jones. That legitimizes him. We help build the Trump movement, the populist movement to fight globalism. He simply is riding that wave. Don't you understand? They don't seem to get it. We're not top down. But look, it's surreal how calmly we're taking today being censored, because this is going to be used on more and more platforms at libraries and Wi-Fi and you name it to block and to have other newspapers report to their idiot readers, oh, look, these sites are fake. But the good news is, even with the most dumbed down people, when Big Brother says, don't go read this, don't go look at it, what's going to happen?
No, exactly. It's the Streisand effect times a billion, right? But the weird thing is, okay, so who's to designate the fake news? Let's say it's a crazy headline, right? Is some human being going to go in and read all the headlines on the site and decide if it's actually factual? And what's their checking mechanism? Is it Snopes? Are they going to use the cat?
Well, no, it's this university professor woman who just created a list because she's a woman and wears pink sunglasses and is kind of quirky and cool and liberal.
Yeah.
She has a wand. Talk about fake news. She's the one that's put out a fake news, fake list.
But here's the thing, too, though. So it would be one thing if it was just put out, but if Quantcast is delisting websites on their main page and classifying them in the same category as porn websites because of a list,
not showing
presumably, I don't know.
Not showing you to protect you from the evil Breitbart.
They have to be protected. That's the other thing. People now have to be protected. What? You're too stupid to go online and see if something's fake yourself? I can tell in 1 nanosecond if a piece is fake when I click on it, or from the headline usually. You know, click on it, it's just some crappy blog. Oh, wow, it's fake. So do I need a nanny to come hold my hand?
And by the way, every once in a while, we end up picking one of these up, and I catch it instantly. I go, there are not Russians landing in Alaska. Get that off.
Hey,
it was up 10 minutes. I said, that is clearly fake. Get that off. But then I'd write stories, or our writers would. I do videos, say a year ago, about Russia saying we're moving towards nuclear war. That was from the Interfax news agency. I was quoting the Kremlin. But people didn't know about it then. So often when you're breaking something shocking, people go, oh, that's Alex Jones, World War III again. But did it later come out that was accurate? Yes. So see, the problem is we're so cutting edge over and over again, people just don't want to believe it. Kind of like I told you that a lot of Hillary's people are into Satanism. I was told that by high-level law enforcement, folks. That's why you saw it come out.
Yeah, and they even said
we told you Hillary is falling down. We told you she has a black ambulance with special lift gates. All of it came out. It came from the Secret Service, folks. You notice we had the highest level red badges at the RNC. I mean, I'm not bragging, but that is why this is upside down. Trump won't talk to the media, but he calls me. We have the highest level red badges, anywhere we wanted to go. And imagine just how much, and the media would see that and get so pissed because you're not the media. And America is fighting for its life, struggling, and halfway has thrown you off its back. Man, I want to defeat you. Man, I can't stand you. I know you hate me, and let me tell you something. I hate you too, MSM and collaborators and Hollywood and globalists. I hate your guts. Okay, it's all mutual. But you know you're trashy, lying, anti-human pieces of crap. All the big studies, you don't give to charity. Liberals, 6 times less likely. You steal 6 times more often. Major studies. You are just knuckle-dragging scum. Thank God I don't come from filthy parents like you. You want to hate? Let's just do it. You are criminals. And we're going to beat you just like we kicked the Nazis' asses. You go keep spewing your race crap all day. I see you. I know who you are, filth. Excuse me. Very loving.
Very loving, very much.
I'm done, man.
Well, look,
I am so pissed today. I am pissed.
Liberal, it doesn't, whatever it is. The point is, who's going to decide?
They're collaborators. They're collaborators for big giant banks that are looting the world right now. That's who they are. They work for the most ruthless corporations. The New York Times, like 5 years ago, had an article about how, oh yeah, for UN carbon sinks and set aside areas, the UN troops line up the villagers and shoot them, the entire families, but it's for the earth. Paul wrote about it. They write articles about mowing down Africans is good for the earth. I mean, this is how disconnected bonkers land they are. And again, Anthony, they're in panic mode. How discredited are they right now with their lying polls, not calling the election, caught rigging everything, caught rigging the debates? You're a stinking joke, dirtbag. Go ahead.
Why do you think this is happening? They wouldn't do this. The mainstream media wouldn't be.
Oh, I agree. It's a desperate move. Oh, you really did it. Thank you.
Every poll, Gallup poll, it's like 80, 70% of people don't trust the mainstream media. And I guess we should just walk around with someone holding our hand in real life who can tell us if something's fake or not. Be like, that's a scary thing. Don't go in there. That's scary. It's fake. Be like, oh, okay. Thank you so much.
But I can feel their hate, though. Can you feel it? Because this is next level. I feel it right now.
You have 1 billion views on YouTube. Why wouldn't they hate you?
No, well, more. That's our one channel has 1 billion.
Yes, one channel.
5 billion. Fake news. Ha! Do an Italian thing to them. Already gave him the other thing.
The whole concept of fake news is funny too, because like I said, it's doesn't even mean anything. So it's now an argument of if InfoWars is fake or not. It's not an argument of who decides what fake is.
No, it's all about these control freaks going, you're alt media. Mom and dad's a bad word. Don't call blacks blacks, call them African Americans. It's about the government and the media setting the language we use, and now they're setting it again going, you're fake. Well, great. Okay, we're fake, sure.
It's domination. It's verbal domination with political correctness. Can't say anything. You have to say it the way they want to. Intellectual domination. You can't think things that are against the status quo. And now it's almost like consumption regulation and domination. You're not allowed to even look at things that are against.
Which is why I'm going to say this now. I need listeners. I'm going to skip this break because I may even have the show soon. I'm not kidding. They could set off nukes, folks, and start a war. They could. I mean, they've already started false flag wars. We've caught them in the WikiLeaks. They could do anything. They could blow up Trump's plane. But know this, we're kicking their butt. They're failing. They know it. They have almost no viewers. They're a complete joke. But I'm telling you right now, whether you're listening to us on AM or FM stations or whatever the case is, spread the word about this station. Support them. Spread the word about Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Spread the word about the groups and organizations that are under attack, because you have to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real 21st century war we're in. They want to make it physical, but we've been smart and have been in the info war kicking their butts. And you can see their rage. You can feel it. You can see them promoting racism and class division in a desperate attempt to not have us come together. The globalists are looting this country. They are looting this nation. They are teaching young people to be nothing but mental patient basket cases. So listen, intensify what you're doing. Print up cards with Infowars.com on it. Hand them out to people. Write articles exposing mainstream media. And when you expose their lies, call it fake news. You know what the fake news is? Amy Schumer, I gave the example. Fake articles they're running all over the web.
We're seeing obvious false flags that are just at the
price. Why we're not leaving town. And she goes, oh, I never really said I was going to leave. That's not true. She lies once. That was a joke. And then, yeah, Trump says he hates his constituents and they're dumb and he's not really a conservative. And at the bottom, she says, by the way, that's a fake quote from Trump. I mean, folks, they're the ones. They're the deceivers with the WMDs and you know, Obamacare is free and thank God you're so stupid. Gruber goes on C-SPAN and thinks only intellectuals are watching that. And he says, but he's not an intellectual. He's a criminal in my view, a deceiver. He says, thank God you're so dumb. Thank God you're so stupid. Thank God you're so stupid. We just called all their news fake. When they were, why not just call WikiLeaks fake? Hillary tried that 3 weeks ago. Remember, WikiLeaks is fake
so
now.
Donna, whatever her name is, she said it was all fake and a lie. She said, oh, Wiki lies? That's not true. When she gave Hillary the campaign.
Yeah, how'd that work for old Donna Brazil? Now, I drug you in here about something very exciting. It's also exciting because it's not just a great product, it funds our operation. Tell people about Brainforce Plus, please.
Well, you know, the media says that all we do and all everyone else does is create division. But in reality, they're the ones creating the division, right? So look, you want to support something you actually believe in, the best way to do it is buy real stuff. And Brainforce Plus, so Brainforce has been sold out for a few weeks, or maybe more than that. It's been sold out. And what we've been doing is behind the scenes is working on getting it even better, like an even more enhanced formula, working with the scientists, working with the manufacturers. And here is the thing.
And putting more pills in there.
Yeah,
capsules.
Exactly. So there's
same price.
Several things about this, Brainforce Plus. I personally, okay, if my car is broken, what do I want to do? I want to go to someone that's like obsessed with mechanics. If I'm hurt, if I have something wrong with me, I want to go to a doctor.
I just want to say I hate the media.
Yes.
I want to say I hate them. You know what? God gave us this for a reason. I love my family. They hate my family. I hate you. I swear before God, you're the enemy of humanity, and I will defeat you. I want the spirit of liberty to rise up and crush you. Everyone must just pray to God they be crushed, and everything they do be turned against them. And I just pray God smite these people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And undivided humanity actually can't be.
I can't handle them anymore.
The only reason we're losing in some ways, and we're not.
I think we're winning, and the enemy feels it right now.
We're winning, but losing only in some ways is if we buy into their fake narrative and then start arguing their points. Give them the hate beams.
Go ahead.
Hey, man.
They've had their way with children long enough. We're going to get you. We know who you are. Get that through your filthy minds. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I like it.
Please continue with the product.
You're up with real stuff. I love it. So, BrainForce Plus, if you want to support something that's real. Basically, what I'm saying is...
Tell them how it's the ultimate nootropic for the lowest price you're going to find. We're all about game changers. 20% more. The enemy hates you funding us. The enemy is openly censoring at a level never seen in U.S. history to try to bring us down. They're trying to censor the news platform bigger than them of the president's chief advisor. They're trying to censor our president. They can go to hell. Tell them about BrainForce Plus.
They don't agree
BrainForce
with, right?
Plus.
BrainForce Plus. Well, I'll tell you what. See how excited that you get? And
I'm in too bad a mood.
I
even have Ventura on next hour. I can't handle it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I will say is that is actually how obsessed we are with also breaking the best products. And BrainForce Plus is literally a perfect example of not only does it have 20% more capsules per bottle, it's a supercharged ingredient, black pepper extract, new ingredient.
Can you believe what filth the media is?
Formula.
These collaborators, how much they hate us, Anthony?
They do. They do.
You know why? Because they're weak sacks of crap. You know, they hate themselves is what it is. I love myself.
Well, you know, they don't like the fact that they don't have the control anymore. How long did the media enjoy control?
I don't want control. I want you frickin' vampires off my back.
Control's an illusion anyway. If you think you have control, you don't, right? But they've never really controlled everything, but they had the mouthpiece. They had one unified mouthpiece, and it always just said, oh, this other group is bad. This group is good. And everyone's just clashing with...
And you're going to use the words we say because we're out of... I mean, they're lunatics. They're control freak. I don't even have words to describe these people anymore.
Delusionals. They're delusionals. They're living in a delusional, manufactured world where they still control things, but people don't even buy it. They don't care. The popular thought process has already proven that over and over again, but then they still want to pretend they have the control. It's kind of like there's kids running all over the place, and the teacher's like, yes, just sit down and listen now. And there's like kids running all over the place. No one listens to the media.
They're swinging on the chandeliers.
Yeah.
Everyone is behaving themselves well.
It's great. Everyone's doing well because they need to pretend that they...
We got like battering rams burning their cities. Winning. Like, your women are ours.
The King's Court.
We're doing quite fine.
The siege is going well. Our defenses are upholding. Like,
the main wall's burning.
That's literally what it's like. And then they still act like they're in control.
I feel a disturbance of the force, though. I think there's up to something right now. I just feel like they're the enemy, and I really don't like them right now.
I mean, of course. It's like there's people. It's so funny because you don't have to be on either side. You're going to categorize.
I'm feeling new levels of hatred right now.
You should. You should feel new levels. Look, it's good when you feel new levels of hatred. Everybody likes your hatred. That's why let it flow. Let it flow. You say sorry for nothing. I want you to let the hatred out. That's
I definitely. I love my children. These people piss me off, man. All the Jake Tapper and all these hunchback demons. I mean, just those aren't men.
They are so insanely delusional and nefarious that they go on there and talk about these people are causing division and racist, and then they're like, look at these racist people. This is racist. You're racist. Like all they do is the same thing they're claiming not to.
I'm sick of their division. You know, it's disgust. It's not even hatred. I'm just so sick of them. I have such energy wanting to just get them out of my life. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're actually defeating them, and I think it's like you're coming up for air. You finally get there. That's what it is. It's like a death struggle.
Yeah.
Listen, the new product's out. We need to sell a lot of stuff to fund this operation. It's a great product you need. BrainForce Plus, 36 capsules. It's got 20% more in each bottle. It's just got a lot of amazing things. It's all organic.
It's the same price. It's got 20% more servings. People were saying it runs out too fast. Well, guess what? 20% more, same exact price. Brand new ingredient, black pepper extract, maximize.
Well, one reason it is some of these are expensive. Some of the stuff in this is expensive. Some of it isn't very expensive. We try to keep prices down. And so we wanted to really have something at a low price, so we only put a small amount of capsules in it. But you want more, here it is. But this is folks get this and they say, oh my God, there are nootropics that are $60 that aren't as good. How do you sell it for this low? That's what we do, folks. We treat you like we want to be treated. It's very, very simple. InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. No, it's just knowing how evil they are, Anthony. To always see them sink to another low, to see them deceive at every level, and to know they're just such trash. And when I watch Dana Bash creep over to Trump, she goes, why are you here at your hotel? You should be campaigning. You're lazy. And he goes, is that a joke? I'm here to show that I got it done a year early and under budget. And she was like a tick that scrabbled over to his leg. She was just like, what are you, like a skexy, what are you doing? And everyone sees who she is, but it doesn't matter. He's like, get out of my way, rat. She's like, and like, goes back in the shadows, but still I've got to look at her. I have to look at Anderson Cooper. I have to look at Michael Moore. I mean, no wonder you hate us. I'm so sorry for you. I'm sorry that you were like, your mother was a porta potty or something. I don't know where you came from. I'm sorry you're so ugly and so degenerate. I understand why you hate us. I'm sorry we're better than you. I'm sorry. All right, Jesse Ventura's coming on. I got a ton of clips I'm going to play while he's on with us and talk to him about it. You know, I don't apologize for having a little bit of fun last hour. I mean, I genuinely am so disgusted with the censorship and garbage we're seeing. Not because it's going to stop us. It's only going to give us the absolute platinum standard with everybody now. This is like absolute certification as being the real deal. Having them openly announce we're not real news and start shutting us off Google and, you know, all these other platforms. It's going to blow up in their face. But I do tell you really what I'm thinking, because it's about getting past convention, not letting them control us, getting outside our comfort zones, and just being real. And if anything I've done here has, you know, hurt people's feelings sometimes, I'm sorry. I'm just being real. It's how I really feel. It's what I really see. And we've got to break the trance. It upsets me to see this piece McBreen put together that's up on Infowars.com, where the media has been caught covering up real racism and attacks on white people in rural communities and true bigoted behavior towards rural whites who are just like the other rural folks, while sitting there and saying that white people are racist and there's an epidemic of white racism. So they'll have all these Funny or Die and other degenerate programs funded by the globalists, Saturday Night Live showing fake simulated white racism, whites burning crosses and things, but then not show you the real attacks. And it just shows how truly committed to deception they are. So let's roll McBreen's piece. Here it is.
Late night comedy on television, chances are you've seen Donald Trump and his supporters portrayed as racist. Now, most of us know that that simply isn't true. Trump supporters come in all walks of life, and Donald Trump himself is not a racist. No, he is far from it. But the mainstream media and the Hollywood elite wants you to live in the land of make-believe. And I put together a quick video compilation of the real-life racism that is rapidly spreading throughout the country right now, and I compare it to fictional, manufactured, and imaginary racism. Can you spot the difference? Let's take a look.
The media's been saying some pretty negative things about Donald Trump.
Rural people
but what
in
are
suburbs.
real Americans saying?
Why do I
Real
support Trump?
Americans.
3 words. Good at business.
See a white guy cutting woods, a Klan member.
He is a racist.
Fake.
But for some of us, just being a
All a
racist,
bunch of Hollywood dirtbags trying to turn us against each other.
I don't know what it is. I just like the guy.
Bunch of race-baiting trash. Think we're all dumb.
Say that Trump is a racist, bigoted, sexist, totalitarian, and ignore all the bad parts in his platform.
Ay, Donaldo, eres tan malo.
You got, you know, the Mexican comedians that are famously financed by the White House to spew all this.
in the rice? Yeah, sure. Think so? There's enough racists in this country for him to get elected.
Yeah, they're only white, aren't they, you anti-white racist?
What do you say to the people who dragged a poor white guy out of a car and beat him?
Oh my goodness, poor white people, please, oh my, stop.
Don't vote Trump.
Yeah, poor white people, they deserve
We
it.
can't just do rallies, we have
They're
to
white.
fight back. There will be casualties on both sides.
There will be casualties.
There will be.
I don't want to hurt you, lady.
We have to die to make
The hell's your
change
problem, you
in this
dumbass
world.
racist? Oh, look, Tom Hanks, another scumbag Hollywood guy with a pork chop mustache, afraid of a black guy. It's very offensive to me. My dad's brother looks just like that. Son of a bitch.
How do you explain the millions and millions of people who do not watch this show, who actually like what
Look at all
they
these little
hear
soft
from Donald
pieces of
Trump,
crap.
aren't taking messages and orders from us in the media, but they listen to what he says for themselves and vote for him? How do you explain that?
Well, there are a lot of people who are racist.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, Hollywood's not racist at all. Hollywood's not elitist at all. You know, the footage of people with Mexican flags beating up a white lady, that's not racist.
And she said, do you hate Mexicans? And I was like, no. And she said, you support Trump, you hate Mexicans.
That's right, beat up the white girl. This is all tribalism.
I was going around consoling people. I said, guys.
This is all corporate warfare, folks. All the elite running it. We'll be right back with Jesse Ventura. We're going to have a nice, good discussion about all the things going on in this country. Stay with us. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is our guest for this hour. We've got a lot to talk about. He's written a new book, Marijuana Manifesto. Boy, I tell you, big wins for decriminalization in the big election. Here's some of the other numbers that we need to repeat every day. Democrats lost 900-plus state legislature seats, 12 governors, 69 House seats, 13 Senate seats. That's some legacy. And Trump is now breaking with the old protocol, the media following him around. They're saying he's in disarray. No, he's not. He's not hiring any lobbyists so far, keeping his promise. You say what you want. Hillary Clinton looks like a reanimated corpse now. When she finally emerged yesterday, threw a fit that night, attacked her staff, according to our CNN insiders, had to be restrained. Other inside baseball from Trump Tower, I can reveal to you exclusively, that they've got Chelsea calling up certain Trump children, the one that's female, and saying, oh, please don't prosecute mommy. Well, that's not his job. It'll be the Attorney General. Look at WikiLeaks. Nothing dirty. And they got into, by the way, the word is, folks got into Trump stuff. Nothing there. That's what Assange said. No ties to Russia. But with Hillary, massive ties. Give me a break, folks. What matters is you can't sell the country out to somebody. You can have ties to whoever. Speaking of that, Jesse Ventura is about to start his new show on RT. They go, oh, Trump went on RT. That's Russian propaganda. Oh, really? With Larry King, who's got better ratings now than CNN on there? It's Larry King. It's Jesse Ventura. It's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. I've been offered TV shows on basically everything now and refused it because they control you. The place I hear you're not controlled is RT. I didn't mean to start this as a jag into RT, and they're certainly not perfect, but I'm told by folks that are on it, you talk about whatever you want. Now, the book is just came out, and it's Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto, New York Times bestselling author. I want to get into some of this as well. But before we do that, there is so much to cover. It's at GovJVentura there on the Twitter if you want to follow him there. I wanted to ask him just overall separate. He's known Trump, been friends with him. I know he was neutral somewhat during the campaign for, quote, third parties, and I get wanting to build third parties. But my view is this was a Tea Party libertarian insurrection into the Republican Party, and that's another way to bring down a party, and that's why all the big money, all the big corporate donors, all the big Republican elites were against Trump. For me, that is a major certification of his bona fides. Doesn't mean he's perfect. Does some things I don't like. We can go over that today. But Jesse Ventura, I mean, look at what Dave Chappelle said. When it's so fashionable to bash Trump, except in the voting booth, what do you make of Dave Chappelle's idea of let's give Donald Trump a chance?
Well, certainly you have to do that. You know, the problem is he's all over the board. You know, he says one thing one day and then says the opposite thing 2 weeks later sometimes. And that's what makes you not know where exactly is he. But certainly he deserves to step back. He's our new president. What I'm more concerned about, Alex, do you want the truth?
Sure.
And this has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican, but this is 2 times now in 16 years that the person that's gotten the most votes doesn't win.
Sure, Electoral College.
I don't like the Electoral College because how can this is twice now in 16 years where the person that got the most votes loses. No other election in America can you get the most votes and lose except that president. Now, so it doesn't matter that the Republicans have prevailed twice on that and the Democrats have failed twice on that. It's a corrupt system that has to be changed. Who's going to have the guts to do it?
Well, I mean, to be fair, if he would have won the popular and Hillary would have gotten the electoral, I would have been saying, damn this electoral thing. But, I mean, Hillary was so bad, it was a true case.
That's the point, Alex. You don't go by the law when it's convenient. And when the law is wrong, in the case of the Electoral College, it's wrong. Get rid of it.
Sure. To be clear, though, just to add that, I was being devil's advocate there. To be clear, I personally like the Electoral College because it doesn't it doesn't let another state dominate it, and it keeps the electioneering in control in compartmentalized pieces and makes election fraud harder. Bev Harris, the top.
That's the biggest baloney. That, you know, okay, then why don't we do it that way for other elections?
Okay, well, I had Bev Harris.
How come president is the only election where the people don't pick them? See, that's the fix. The people don't pick the president. Delegates do.
Well, we already tried with the superdelegates to block that.
1700, they had to go by horseback to Washington.
Sure.
Well, nobody's going on horseback anymore that I know of.
Sure. Let me just get this out, though. You know Bev Harris. She's very respected. They've even done a TV show about her. But the point is, HBO documentary, she's a liberal Democrat. She said clearly that Hillary probably stole 5 states that night, and that there was massive fixing against Trump. So she's discovered the latest...
You know, Alex, I don't buy into that because I was a governor, and we did vast studies when I was a governor that showed voter fraud. If voter fraud happens, it will happen at the electronic voting machine.
I agree, election fraud.
Which need to be gotten rid of. Some things don't improve with time.
I agree.
And in Minnesota, we still fill in the dots so you can individually count every vote done. So if there's fraud, it comes at the electronic voting machines. Like in Ohio in the Bush election, there's a great deal of question mark about all of that.
Oh, sure. Bev Harris...
why their ballots got sent to Tennessee first.
Bev Harris proved that the 2000 election was clearly stolen. There was fraud in 2004 as well against the Democrats. I agreed to that. I was not a fan of Republicans or Democrats then. I've supported Trump because the elite were so against him, and I see that as a better shot of trying to get...
That's great. If he can, but here's my problem. Look at the people he's talking... Now, I hope the media is wrong again. Because the people they're talking about putting in positions of power, that ain't draining the swamp. That's putting the pollution right back in.
No, I knew this is where we'd agree today. If he puts John Bolton in, that is a very dangerous warmongering.
Not only that, Newt Gingrich, come on. I mean, this guy was in office 12 years before I ran.
Well, here's the argument, and all I care about is what Trump actually does, and that's where the rubber meets the road. I will go after him.
Exactly. That's what I want to see. Now, transitioning to the marijuana issue, he's let it be known that he's going to leave that up to the states. Well, that's fine, because now 28 some states have legalized marijuana in some manner. More of them are going all the way.
And isn't that the constitutional position? Isn't that the constitutional position?
What's that?
He has the right position. It's constitutional.
Yeah, let the states handle it. No problem. I don't have a problem with that. Have you heard the latest in Colorado? 18,000 new jobs. So if Trump endorses marijuana, he'll have a good chance to be successful on bringing jobs back, because there's 18,000 alone in Colorado, and it's been a $2.4 billion boost to the Colorado economy.
Well, Governor, you know I've always been for decriminalization, and I've supported you and others doing that. I mean, I think some of this marijuana is so strong that I don't like regulation, but what are we going to do about it getting stronger and stronger?
Well, that's not a problem, Alex. It's no different than booze. You got Everclear alcohol, you got 151 rum. If you drink that stuff, it'll knock you into tomorrow. You know what the positive thing is about stronger marijuana? It's healthier. You smoke less.
I guess that's true.
You can't overdose it, Alex. If you overdose marijuana, you'll go down in the...
No, I know, but the marijuana, I smoked some...
ever.
Sure,
because no one has ever overdosed on marijuana. It's impossible.
No, I mean, you're certainly right. I mean, I was never a big marijuana guy, but the stuff I smoked in high school and college, you can smoke a whole joint and hardly get high. The stuff now, one hit, I can hardly get out of a chair.
Well, isn't that better?
I guess.
You don't have to smoke as much. You're not putting smoke into your lungs.
Now, Jesse, what would you know about smoking marijuana?
What do I grew up in the 60s.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
It's like I said, when Arizona voted it down, they were the only state where it lost. Arizona. My quote was, "Shame on you, Arizona. If Jimi Hendrix were alive today, he would not play Phoenix."
Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto. I can't wait to read it. It looks like a very interesting book. It has a lot of history in it as well. We're going to go to break soon, though. I want to get more back into politics here. What is your overall, talking to your wife at night, you know Trump, you've known him for 30 years. What does your gut tell you about what he'll really do in office?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm hoping that he makes good, smart decisions. I'm hoping that he brings in new, like he promised. I don't want this old, people have such short memories. If they go back to the Republican rule, that was 2000 when we had the largest attack in U.S. history took place. We got involved in 2 wars that we're still fighting that are not winnable, and the economy was completely tanked. And people want to go back to that. I don't.
Well, time's going to tell.
I don't, Alex. I hope Donald brings in new people. I hope he does what he said, drains the swamp and starts. That's the mandate he got, was from the people to go in there and change Washington as we know it. And to do that don't mean Rudy Giuliani, Newt Gingrich, and this cast of characters.
I absolutely agree with you. The argument is that they know how the thing runs so that he'll be able to basically get what he wants as an executive, having them carry out his will. And so they're like the janitor that knows where everything is in the building.
I don't buy into that, having governed. I don't buy, if you're bringing back the old guard, then, and now they're going to try to overturn Roe v. Wade and send that back to the states, which appears like a fair thing to do until you realize that then poor women won't have access to that type of procedure because they won't be able to afford to go to
Sure, Jesse, you can't have marijuana sent back to the states. You can't have marijuana sent back to the states and stuff like that and then not have abortion sent back. I mean, that's where it's supposed to be.
Well, if you're going to be consistent that way, but again, like I said, for women in poor states, if they decide not to allow it, then they're going to be in a tough situation where rich women it won't be a problem for because they could go to whatever state they need to if they desire that to do that type of thing.
All I know.
Me on that? So it will discriminate against the poor. And truly on the marijuana issue, if you legalize it, that's one of the big sticking points why they won't, because poor people, and you wouldn't have to pay the government. You and I both know, Alex, that if the government could charge you for the air that you breathe and tax it,
they would.
They would. They would. And the problem with marijuana is you could grow it in your backyard, therefore you wouldn't have to pay the government. Poor people could grow it and have access to it, and they likewise wouldn't have to pay the government or big pharma, and that's really the sticking point on why government puts up this resistance to the legalization of marijuana.
Well, a bigger point is
you'd have access to not have to pay them to get it.
Well, sure. Well, it does have hundreds of real medical uses. It is amazing.
Hundreds of them. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It gave me my quality of life back. Someone close to me developed a seizure disorder, was put on 4 different pharmaceutical medicines. My life was gone. If you've ever taken care of seizures, you're helpless. It's terrifying. And when it happens to someone extremely close to you, it's even worse. And the person went on 4 different pharmaceutical medicines. None of them worked. They all had horrible side effects. Finally took the person to Colorado, got, quote, medical marijuana, 3 drops under the tongue 3 times a day, which is now 2 pills a day in Minnesota. And the person hasn't had a seizure in over 2 years.
I know. It's probably the most amazing plant there is. In fact, I think hands down it has the most...
It's high time that we start exploiting this plant positively instead of doing what the government... So as far as Donald goes on marijuana, Donald clean house and allow it to be legalized. It's jobs, baby. You'll deliver on it then.
Well, the media is also saying he's gone back on his promise to deport all the Mexicans. What he said is, if you're a felon... you're here illegally and we get you, we're going to deport you. If you're here illegal, we're going to make it easier for you to come in illegally and get rid of this permanent underclass. They then misrepresented that, as he said.
Well, but there's a problem there, too. Who's going to catch these illegals? The local cops?
Well, they've already said they're not going to have a national deportation force. The point is you get pulled over.
If you're asking the local cops to do it, then you're going to have more crime.
No, but let me say this just real quick, because I've actually talked to local police and others. We've had them in studio. The issue is when the illegals are in this no man's land, they're allowed to drunk drive, they're allowed to commit crimes. It just festers, and then there's this excuse: if we arrest illegals, then they won't call the cops when they need help. And just all of that is bull. All he's saying is, if you are here, let's say a rapist or an armed robber or whatever, we're going to deport your ass right away, and we're not going to have open borders for anybody that wants to come in.
Well, that's great. Here's my big. You want to see my basic thing, Alex? How is he going to pay for all the things he's promised and continue these wars? If these wars, now here's a good thing. He's willing to talk to Putin and open up relationships to Russia. If he can do that, I will consider him a successful president.
I agree.
But here's the deal. He's made all these promises, fighting the wars. We're going to blow them off the face of the earth. Then on this side, we're going to build this wall to Mexico. We're going to do this. We're going to catch all these illegals in our country. Where the hell are we going to get the money to do all of this?
Well, Governor, you know how the economy works. If you cut taxes and actually keep spending the same, tax receipts go up. You just can't increase spending like Reagan and the Democrats did. And so, I mean, a wall...
Yeah, but you fail to realize that it's spending that keeps the economic engine running.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And the point is, where are you going to get all this money?
Because then it's not the government doing the spending, it's the private sector.
You're going to have to not go to war then. Pull us out of the wars. Get us. Here's what Trump should do. Get us out of the wars. Bring everybody home, and then you'll have enough money to do everything he's talking about.
I know.
Doing in this country.
Jesse, here's what's frustrating. I listen to you. I read the stuff you write. I agree with like 90% of it. And then I actually know what Trump's really saying, not just sound bites out of context. And it's very close to what you're saying. He was in 3 different videos before the Iraq war. Fox and CNN, I've played them, saying this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do it. Saddam didn't attack us, blah, blah, blah. 3 videos after, the media says, no, you were for that war. No, he was against it just like you were. You got, basically kicked off TV because of it. So the point is that he says we've got to take out ISIS because our own government helped put it in charge with Saudi Arabia. But after that, he says, Russia's not expanding. Russia's not in our face. He wants to build up our actual defense forces that have been falling apart and stop all the offensive wars. He's very clear about that.
Good. He will get my support 100% if he does that.
But I agree with you. It's going to be hard because especially...
and I want to see it happen, and that because something's got to pay for all this stuff that he's promised in the country.
Well, he says, that $1 billion fighter that's worthless, he's going to cancel that.
Well, but the other problem is when he builds the wall, I'm going to protest it and go over the other way and stay in my home in Mexico.
No, I mean, I understand that.
No, because, Ronald Reagan was the icon of the Republican Party. They all hold him up. And, his famous quote, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. This is just me personally, Alex. I don't want to live in East Berlin.
Well, let's be clear. East Berlin was communist on one side and then Western Germany on the other, and they were shooting people trying to leave. And I agree with Ron Paul when he said 6 years ago, we don't want a wall because it'll be there to keep us from getting out of the country. The one area I disagree with Trump is I get the metaphoric wall. He means restore sovereignty. In the really bad areas, build a wall. Now it's a fence. The point is that obviously they build bigger ladders or dig under it. We all get that. Okay, so it's more, and he says he's really going to build it as some make-work thing. And I like how he gets past political correctness. I like how he wants to cut poor people's taxes to 0. I like stuff like that.
Well, like I said, I want to see how he's going to be able to do it and sustain these wars, because these wars have cost us over $1 trillion. And we have nothing to show.
Well, General Flynn wants to reorganize everything and cut the size, but have more effective military.
Why can't we bring back General Smedley Butler from the dead?
I hear that. I totally agree with you. War's a racket. Well, look at all the hell Trump went through for saying there's no reason to be at war with Russia.
Oh, I agree with him 100%. I love the fact that he's willing to talk to Putin. I would rather be talking than aiming guns at each other. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And you know what the good thing is about creating a relationship with Russia, Alex?
Well, they've got a gigantic border around the world, and they can do a lot of...
not just that, they're white.
That's racist. No, I know.
That's tongue-in-cheek, Alex. Laugh.
No, I understand. Well, I'm
making a joke because why wouldn't we be their friends? They're white people.
No, I get it. White people are all racist and bad. Hey, have you not seen... Look, it's the left mainly pushing the whole race narrative, and Trump countered it and basically said, stop it. This is wrong. I mean, if you tune into liberal media, it is the most anti-white garbage with white people leading it. It's total divide and conquer.
Well, you know, it's yeah. You know, the country is divided now, and but it's happened before. And like I said, it's you know, it's going to always continue to be out there. And you know, he pulled off a major upset. No one ever thought that he could win, but he did.
I did.
And you know, but now he's got to govern. And let's see what happens. He's going to be the face of America now. And I certainly hope. See, here's the part I don't like about the election, Alex, and the whole thing leading to it. If you read 1930s Germany, it's almost the same.
And he's got blonde hair, so he's a white guy.
Well,
we're all screwed.
That, but, you know, in 30s Germany, they marginalized a group of people and blamed them for all their problems. They wanted to throw all immigrants out of the country.
Listen,
so,
Jesse,
you know,
Jesse, the difference here is
what went on over there in the 30s.
Sure.
I hope the result. And remember, that guy got elected too, didn't he?
So you're saying Trump may be Hitler?
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying, don't quote me like that. I'm just saying, having sat back as an independent and watched this year's elections and the campaigns, they're the worst I've ever seen in my
things
life.
are definitely very fascist in this country.
Not just for president.
Sure, we got to go to break. Let's come back and talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been sold out for a couple of weeks, and it's now back in stock. Brain Force Plus. It's the ultimate nootropic unless you spent like $200, $300 and got something that was prescription. And some of the stuff in this is prescription in Europe. It's all very, very safe. It's high quality. It is just an incredible brain booster. It is night and day compared to energy drinks and things that, I mean, like 3 or 4 energy drinks would cost the same amount as a bottle of Brain Force. And now it's got more capsules, 20% more, a new, stronger formulation as well. Brain Force Plus, available at InfoWarsLife.com. Or simply call toll-free 888-253-3139. We also have the red shirt that's about to sell out that says, Trump is my president, legalize freedom, Infowars.com. Now, it's at cost. It's $9.95, shipping included. So when I say support the broadcast, be sure and check out the water filtration systems, the books, the films, all of it at InfoWarsStore.com. That's what funds this independent media operation. I want to thank you all for your support. But I'll tell you this, Governor Ventura, then we'll get back to this Hitler thing and Trump. And you were talking during the break and clarifying, you're saying the whole atmosphere is very fascist. I very strongly agree with you on that, because mainstream media has escalated the rhetoric, calling people that are nationalist racist, saying if you don't like Obamacare, you're a racist. People are sick of that, so they've upped their rhetoric right back. But the polls, I knew Trump folks, high level, they're pollsters. I knew other pollsters. They said, yes, Trump's 10, 15 points ahead in these battleground states. After they lied and said she was winning, some people jumped the bandwagon and said, okay, I'm for Hillary. He was still winning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. In red states, he was like 20 points ahead. In some blue states, he was ahead. I knew he was going to win. I kept telling everyone, and sure enough, he did. And I talked to top pollster last week off record. He said, no, Alex, you're right. There was total collusion by the Republican and Democratic parties to basically work together with the pollsters to produce this fraud. So I think what Trump, whether he's good or bad, his maverick candidacy from the outside, whether he's taken over the corrupt system for himself or whether he's really trying to change it, even if he tries, who knows if he can, it is a repudiation of the whole MSM complex. And you're somebody that had a top show on MSNBC back when they had, 5, 6, 10 million viewers per show. They fired Donahue. They fired you, golden handcuffs. You couldn't broadcast for years because you were anti-war. And then notice, you went from being popular because they had folks like you on to getting rid of their audience. They were competing against the internet then. It isn't the internet that killed MSNBC and CNN. It's the fact that they are such corporate shills. And instead of being repudiated, Governor Ventura, they only seem to be intensifying the level of nastiness.
Well, that's to be, expected, because they have advertisers and they have to carry the bucket for them, so you don't really have a free media at all. The thing that troubled me, Alex, about this election was the rhetoric on both sides. I traveled throughout the country doing my book tour, and I saw the identical same ads that were playing for Congress people in Minnesota, playing in all the other states too. All they did was change the names. And when you saw the ads, you'd think the person belonged in jail. You'd think that they should be on the 10 most wanted list.
Sure.
Go to.
Well, in the case of Hillary, I mean, doesn't Hillary
Clinton waiting death? And I only say that because when I ran, I never ran one political ad where I tore apart my opponent. I tore apart the system. I talked about the
policies,
parties, but never once did I make it personal. And this election cycle was on both sides, all completely. It was so disgusting. I went and played golf with 3 professionals one day, and they all reiterated to me, they said, this election has made me embarrassed to be an American.
Okay, I agree with you in part, but let me put it to you this way. What do I do when MSNBC says, quote, Alex Jones doesn't like Obamacare because he's deeply racist? I call them scumbag, filthy liars because they are. What do I do when they punch me in the nose politically? How do I mean, I understand. You're right.
You're not running for nothing, Alex. You can defend yourself all you want.
But I'm saying not just politically.
You know, I'm talking about this I'm not talking about attacks on you, Alex Jones. I don't like them. You know, you do what you do.
No. I know you're not saying that. I'm saying
to you.
No, I totally agree, Governor. What I'm saying is, look at how the media allowed things to be written about you that aren't true. What I'm saying is, it seems like the media has led the charge down the rat hole.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look at 34 of them came into my court case and got the verdict overturned, and they got unjust enrichment denied so that they can now profit from wrongdoing. I have no love for the media. I try to avoid every media that's part of my lawsuit. I don't go on with them anymore.
That's what I do.
Another reason you're seeing me restricted, because I choose the media that took part in overturning my court case against Kyle. I'm boycotting them now.
Well, I know it's a very scary, regardless of what somebody thinks about you, and you're a popular guy, but we all have enemies. Regardless, let's just get names out of this. Do we want the precedent set where someone can be found guilty of defamation, of libel, of slander, and then you don't get unjust enrichment, so it's not even a big dollar number? That basically gets rid of the defamation laws, which in a way, they've called Trump fascist for saying he wants stronger defamation laws. Quite frankly, even though I'm a, quote, media person and a firebrand, I want stronger ones because I'm ready to defend what I say. I'm sick of people saying I'm a, quote, racist with no damn evidence. I'm sick of it.
I agree with you. I agree completely. You know, look at what I've gone through. It's been 5 years of my life over that lie, and it continues on now because we had, 2 judges that overturned the Minnesota jury, and they overturned it, breaking their own 76-year-old rule in the courtroom. I mean, what message does that send to me about my country and the shape that it's in when judges can sit out there and violate their own rules? That's like, in the game of golf, you have many rules, and you're a corrupt golfer if you do break the rule knowingly, and many of them, they rely only on you to do it. No one's going to catch you. So if you break them, you're a corrupt golfer. I feel the same way about judges who have rules in the courtroom, and then they arbitrarily break them as they see fit, depending on the case and who they want to win.
Exactly. And then what's the point of even playing the game of life if it is rigged? What's the point of playing golf if you're going to cheat?
Yeah, exactly.
Because aren't you really always just playing against yourself?
Your score's not authentic then.
Well, aren't you really just cheating yourself when you cheat like that?
Well, no, you're cheating the game, too.
Yeah.
And cheating everybody else that plays it. But truly, yeah, in golf, you're just cheating yourself. Unfortunately, judges, when they do that, they cheat masses at times. It's not just a single solitary. So that part of the example I used would be wrong. When a judge does it, it can have implications that could affect us all.
They cheat humanity.
When you do it on a golf course, it only affects you.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And that's what these people don't get about corruption is that you're screwing yourself and everybody around you, and it ends up basically, I liken it to pissing in the pool or something. Going to a community pool and you think, oh, I'm pissing in the pool, I'm the only one. The truth is you're ruining it for yourself as well, and it seems like it's an immaturity. I mean, everybody knows that 6 or 7 year olds will cheat at Uno or Monopoly, but once you're 10 years old, you stop cheating at cards. At least you should. And it seems like people are cheating more and more.
Well, I I don't know. Again, getting back to Trump and all that, I'm sitting back to see what he does. You know, I won't judge him because when I ran for governor, people had to sit back and see what I did. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. Absolutely. He's my president. He got elected. But I'm still going to gripe about the Electoral College because win, lose, or draw, I didn't care who won there. We must get rid of that system. It has to go.
Well, I mean, look, you say it's about horseback, and of course it was about horseback, but also some states didn't want other more populous states having control over them. So it was a way to put
that ain't the point. We're one country, so it should be simply who the most citizens in this country who they want for president. It should have nothing to do with what state they come from.
Sure. Let me put it to you this way, though. Look at why until the 17th Amendment, we got in 1913 with the Federal Reserve and the income tax by the very same Congress that did it. Before, House members were elected by the public democratically. You also elected your legislature, but to have a check and a balance, they would then elect the senator and send them so the state had a check on the federal government. We don't have that now. Would you be opposed to going back to senators being elected by the legislature?
No, I'd rather have them elected by the people. I want to be, I don't like anything where I don't directly participate in it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's my feelings. I believe that every elected position, whether you're a mayor, a city council member, whether you're a congressman, senator, president, or what have you, should be done by the popular vote of he who gets the most votes wins.
Sure. Governor Ventura, this is not a pissing contest. I don't want to say you're wrong. I just want you to hear my point of view. And I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm having a real discussion. You started off with the Hitler parallels, which are very real. But Germany was a pure democracy in 1933, February, whenever he got elected. And that Hitler used that system to get elected and then used it to take up the freedom. In a republic system, Hitler couldn't have done a lot of the things he did because there were checks and balances. Even though they claimed Weimar was a republic, it was a purely democratic...
But Alex, there's checks and balances now by who you elect, and we have a government of checks and balances. If the president tries to do something crazy, the Congress should have a check and balance to stop him.
Well, they do.
Regardless of party. See, that's the problem.
Oh, I agree.
It's so partisan party now.
Well, we have to get rid of all these imperial areas where, like, senior senators and House members are committee heads and become their own potentates.
Exactly, and I'm not against term limits. If Trump wants to impose term limits, I think it's.
Well, good luck getting that.
I've always been under the belief that no one should be able to serve any longer than we allow our president.
Sure, 8 years. So you agree with Trump on that? Well, then, here, look, I know you didn't want to get in the middle of it during the time, but Gary Johnson, God love him, his other guy his VP started campaigning for Hillary, for God's sakes, and so my point is, can't we just say Trump's better than Hillary?
I don't know.
Well, you don't think much of Trump, man. Did you read the WikiLeaks?
Alex, no, I can't do that. I can't do it until Donald governs.
Okay, so when you come back from Mexico in 6 months...
Promises. Well, I used to have an old buddy in powerlifting, my old training partner, and everybody talk about how much they were going to lift in the meet, and he'd always say to me, remember, champ, talk is cheap. They got to go out and lift it. Well, my point is now, I can't sit and say Trump's better than Hillary. I have to wait and see Trump govern. Then I'll make the decision on whether I thought he would be better. He would be better than Hillary or not.
Sure.
And you're talking to the true independent here. I didn't have a dog in the fight. I ended up voting for Dr. Stein.
No, I understand. Listen, I admire the fact that you've stayed neutral, and I've always stayed neutral. I don't want to say it's safer. It's scary to always be on the outside, but I see the globalists so mad at Trump and the corrupt Pope and the corrupt communist Chinese and the Saudi Arabians and everybody saying he's bad and exaggerating all this race stuff and, running around foaming at the mouth. And it's just like, you know what? They're scared of him. I'm going to get behind him. And then he's not fake in person. You know him better than I do. He's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, no, I have no qualms against Donald. He's got a huge ego, but, a lot of people do. I do, too. And, and the greatest night I ever had was when we had dinner in New York. It was Donald, and I'm not sure if it was his wife now or someone before that. With Donald, you're not sure. But, and I don't care about that. That's his private business. It has nothing to do with me. But Donald had a lady friend, whomever it was, and it was me, Donald, and Woody Harrelson. And what an evening we had, because we went out to the press then and told the press that Donald and I were getting behind Woody to make the run. So Donald's also got a great sense of humor.
No, I know. He loves to prank people.
With it. We all did it that night. It was a fun night we had in New York. So again, I can't sit and say Donald's better or worse than Hillary until I see Donald govern. It's unfair to ask me that. A year from now, Alex, we'll have the conversation.
What would you warn him to watch out for? I mean, I hear you when you say...
I would warn him to watch out. See, what bothered me the most was when he picked Pence.
Yeah, well...
Because when he did that, that was like, wait a minute, that's the old Republican guard there. And now he's put Pence in charge of transition, which means that's what causes me to question, wait a minute, have they just usurped everything he talked about and now he's just going to be another freaking Republican?
Well, his argument is that they're going to do what he says.
Hopefully.
But in my experience, at least being a company owner, people that have been doing their own thing usually do their own thing.
Well, like I said, unfair to ask me right now, Alex. I want to give him a year. Let's give him a year in office, and I want to see who he appoints.
Well, I actually agree with that, because they're already trying to claim that, he's not getting enough insiders in, so he's this big failure and he's in disarray when he's not. Or he goes to dinner without the press corps, and they say that he's broken protocol. Thank God he's breaking protocols. I don't want him to do that.
You know what? See, that's all the crap I don't even pay attention to. To me, that's the nonsense news, that's the National Enquirer news that our mainstream media now purports as being important to us, when it's not. I don't care when Donald goes to dinner. I don't care about any of those things. What I care about is what is our relationship going to be with Russia? How are we going to handle... The reason I voted for Dr. Stein, I'll tell you why. I went with the Green Party, because she fulfilled my top three. My top three were getting out of the Middle Eastern wars, ending the war on drugs, and starting a war on climate change.
Well, to be fair, we interviewed her, and I agree with two of those three. She said, look, if you don't vote for me, vote for Trump, because Hillary wants World War III. I mean, anybody who was honest said Trump was better just because of that.
Well, I don't know any of those quotes. I didn't hear the show or anything like that. That also worries me, though. Trump's supposedly going to put a guy in charge of the EPA that doesn't think we're polluting at all.
Jesse, this is where the rubber. We're going to break one more segment with you. I'm going to talk about your book in the final segment, but just let me throw this at you. I get that humans are doing GMO and toxic waste dumping and real problems. A carbon tax is on carbon dioxide that the plants breathe. It only shuts off our power plants, Governor. It's not.
The thing is, though, here's the deal, Alex. It's this simple. Scientific fact, undisputable, can't be denied. The more carbon there is in the air, the higher the temperatures will be. And right now, the atmosphere has the most carbon in the air that has ever been recorded. Now, a lot of that comes from the Earth itself, but certainly a lot of it is mass-produced by us. So, to me, it's an important thing.
Well, let's talk about when we come back. But you said something key.
Oil's an old energy.
I hear you.
Human beings, it's time for us to go.
We got to go to break.
Beyond oil and leave oil behind.
All right, we're going to break. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm during the break talking to this guy, and he's talking about how he's still playing golf in Minnesota because he normally couldn't years ago, so it must be getting warmer. We go through all sorts of cycles. My point is, what they're offering as a solution to an unclear problem is a global government and a global carbon tax. That's my problem with the issue. You have a comment back, Governor, if you want, but you were telling me some big breaking news on the Dream Ticket in 2020 that you say you think is unbeatable. Tell us about that.
I'll tell you, it just came to me today doing another show earlier. They said that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, has stated that he may go for president in 2020. Now, this guy just got named sexiest man in the world. I mean, that alone could probably get him elected. Now, I put the word out immediately. I know Dwayne. I said, you tell Dwayne if he runs as an independent that I will gladly run with him. Can you imagine the world of pro wrestling takes over the country?
It sounds about right, but would you let him be president? You be VP?
Absolutely. No problem.
So I think it's fair to say this is a big show here. This just was brought up earlier. You're kind of breaking this here.
Well, you know, Dwayne, I haven't talked to Dwayne at all, but that's what the other show said. The Rock came out and said that he's contemplating running in 2020, and I immediately said, you tell Dwayne, because I've known Dwayne. I actually wrestled his father, Rocky Johnson. And I said, you tell Dwayne, I said, if he runs independent, I'll join him. And between us, how would we be defeated when you got two wrestlers?
I like him personally, even though... I like him personally, and that's why I believe the statistics when I've seen it a few times that he's one of the most likable people in the world. When they do studies, people say that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's like probably the most likable person in the world.
Maybe, I don't know, but the way our elections go now, it's more about star power than it is about anything else. And like I said, I'd jump on board with him, and I'd give him the credibility because I've governed at both federal level and at a state level.
It came out in WikiLeaks that you were being looked at as Trump's VP, so see, you should have talked to him.
I'm sure that came because early on, remember when I said if Trump really wanted to kick off the Republicans, he'd tell him he wanted me, the ultimate independent, to be his VP? So I maybe initiated that, and the Democrats must have taken it seriously.
Well, I mean, my deal is if he has a Bannon that's super anti-globalist and an insider that can help him get stuff done in government like a Priebus, I get it. But when you start talking about Bolton, who's Mr. World War III, that just doesn't fit with Trump not wanting to have war with Russia. It just doesn't fit.
Well, I hope not. Like I said, I want to talk to Putin. I want us to become friends with Russia. This is long enough, Alex. I'm 65 now, and they've been our enemies my entire life.
Well, that's been done by...
long enough?
Sure, that's been done on purpose. But look, I want to be friends with China. Great people. The communist Chinese are doing horrible things to their folks. I'm not against communist China because they're Asian. I'm against it because they're corrupt and out of control. Sure. And I want peace.
Let's do one at a time. How about Russia first, and then we'll worry about China?
No, I agree. They say China will basically, if the U.S. and Russia linked up, that would create incredible stability globally. Russia and the United States would control the entire northern hemisphere just geographically, and it would be just a great way to cut spending on defense and secure things.
I would, and always remember the deal we made with Russia.
Which we broke.
Yeah, remember George H.W. told Gorbachev if he broke up the Soviet Union that we would never put troops on the Russian border.
Which we've been doing for 10 years.
We've been doing it since Clinton, longer than 10 years.
But it's been escalating. It's been escalating.
Yeah, and we've been escalating it ever since Clinton. So we're violating a very agreement we had in Russia, and then we blame Putin because he does things when...
But Jesse, we're all Russian agents. We're all Russian agents. Don't forget that. Hey, thanks for coming on. We'll have you back on as soon as you get back from Mexico. So
yeah, thanks, Alex. And like I said, please, I encourage people to read my marijuana book so they can get educated on and learn the truth about marijuana because we've been lied to again.
Well, sure, just the medical stuff's amazing. Marijuana Manifesto, thank you. Fourth hour.
So is the euphoric stuff, Alex.
Thank you, Governor. We'll be right back at the fourth hour. Stay with us, Infowars.com/show. Spread that link. They're censoring us. Yeah, and now that Anthony Cumia is a regular every few weeks doing the show, and Roger Stone and so many others, we got to cut new liners, let them send their liners, and we have the guy cut liners for them specifically. It's Alex Jones. Hi, I'm Anthony Cumia. But it's all a work in progress here. The election is obviously taking it out of all of us. I'm cross-eyed half the time now, but I'm so wound up, I can't seem to get off the treadmill. I got to take a vacation because I've been flipping out today, folks. I'm actually pissed at myself that I've not gotten more angry when they just came out. I've only seen 4 or 5 of these. I'm told it's like on every channel, NBC, CBS, broadcast TV. Me and Gavin McInnes calling us deeply racist, and we need to be censored. And then Stephen Bannon's a racist. They don't show any clip of it. And then I learned that BreitbartNews.com, Infowars.com, every other site we've got has been just banned off Google Chrome. It gives you warnings that it's fake or dangerous. I mean, I'm just living in the frickin' Twilight Zone here, man. We just kicked their ass. They got caught with fake polls. They got caught with fake questions and fake debates. Just at WikiLeaks, they got caught in freaking devil worship. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Who's got the energy to run around and drink blood and crap? I mean, it's just what is going on with these people? What happened to drinking a beer and watching TV or something? I mean, they're just a bunch of freaks. And then I sit here and I realize it's not ending. It's getting crazier. I just have to make it fun and make it exciting. But I am kind of setting up the bat emergency to listeners because I was about to punch out and let the man from behind Compound Media take over. And I just realized I need to throw more of a fit, not just laugh. I've been on air like, ha, they're censoring everything. God, it's fascism. Oh, isn't that funny? Look at these dumbasses. I'm realizing, but it's really happening. They've delisted us from Alexa. They're trying to kill our advertisers. We're still kicking their ass. I called Paul Watson. He goes, yeah, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. It's bad, Alex. Worst yet. Here's their plan. And I'm like, he goes, don't worry. We always kick their ass. We'll kick it again. So it's compoundmedia.com, Anthony Cumia. We're going to break in 3 minutes. I want you to take over. But you got kicked off your #1 show. Your whole history's getting censored for just mild stuff you said that these, anti-cop people act like a bunch of, criminals. It's true. You get kicked off. It's just like, God, but here's the problem. It's intensifying. So I get mad and feel like I better up the ante more against these people. We've got to really deal with them somehow. But I guess it's already happening. They're collapsing. We're exploding. What do you say, my friend? Take over.
It's just been unbelievable since the election. I've seen what you think is that they're going to say, wow, we lost. We better change our tune because the silent majority that was indeed out there came to life and made their voices heard. And now they're doubling down on a lot of the stuff that made that happen. I don't know if they're stupid, delusional, both. They just don't seem to understand that every demonstration they hold against Donald Trump, every time somebody's called racist, sexist, homophobic, when they crucify people with no evidence, when people are being beaten in the streets, videotape evidence of people being beaten in the streets for being Trump supporters, and all they want to report is a piece of loose leaf paper was found under someone's windshield wiper, and that's Trump's minion going around committing these racial
atrocities. Jack Frost. It's like Jack Frost is skipping around. In fact, if you want to play it, because my producer's mad at me because I say get these clips, we have 3 racial attacks. I'm not saying play it. If you want to, they can tell you about it. 3 a day that's caught on video, hundreds more that aren't, of white people being attacked. And I'm not some white nationalist. I don't give a damn.
No.
But I'm like, quit attacking us and then saying we're attacking you. But it's not even the minorities. It's the media directing them.
I have heard them literally say hundreds upon hundreds of racist attacks by Trump supporters since the election. And not one shred of evidence.
No.
I mean, everyone has a camera in this day and age. If there was a Bigfoot, we'd have seen it. If there was a Loch Ness Monster, we'd have seen it. But for some reason, we never see these attacks.
I know what we did see.
Trump supporters are perpetrating against these poor liberals that are just trying to get their voices heard.
Anthony, you're doing a great job. Have you seen Hillary yesterday reemerge? She literally looked like Walking Dead. Look at her. We'll be back.
What did they do? Either they canceled her piece. Yes. The all-new Brain Force Plus has arrived at InfoWarsLife.com. For more than a year, InfoWars has been working behind the scenes with leading formulation scientists to create the new generation of nootropics. Brain Force has been an absolute favorite among listeners and the InfoWars crew, and has been completely sold out on InfoWarsLife.com for weeks. Now InfoWars Life is taking Brain Force to the next level with Brain Force Plus at InfoWarsLife.com. With Brain Force Plus, here's what you get. 20% more capsules per bottle, a brand new supercharger ingredient, black pepper extract, a higher concentration formula for maximum potency, all for the same low price as the original Brain Force. This is the definition of a 360 win, and it's your purchase that helps support the InfoWar. For this limited first run, we'll be selling on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit InfoWarsLife.com and secure your bottle before we sell out. How's everybody doing? Anthony Cumia here for InfoWars. Loved it. Was listening before I got on here today. Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura, which there is nothing more entertaining than listening to Jesse, the body, the mind Ventura. I should have been the vice presidential candidate. Should have been me. I'd whip everyone into shape with some mind control. I can't get enough of Jesse Ventura. When last I was with you here at InfoWars, we still didn't know. We still had no clue who the president was going to be. We hoped. Oh, did we hope? And, well, we all know what happened. Donald Trump, president-elect of the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton, just relegated to where she should be, the trash bin of history. She's done. I believe that's the last we'll see politically of these two. Criminally, who knows? And, of course, Chelsea, their offspring, who knows what the future holds for her with all the favors and whatnot that have gone back and forth with the Clintons over the years. So there'll still be a force there somewhere, but you won't see Hillary running for anything anymore. I predict this, and I've seen this happen with a lot of people that I've known over the years. When people are vibrant, full of life, and then they retire, and within 6 months, they're dead. They're just gone. There's something about having a purpose and a drive for something in life. And Hillary's entire existence has been to attain the maximum level of power and control, which is the presidency of the United States, the leader of the free world. This is something she has wanted forever. And this was her last shot. The fact that she thought she had it in the bag, too, really adds on to that immense disappointment in her life. And I foresee this. Now, I don't hope harm on anybody. I'm a nice, likable type of fella. But let me tell you something. I've seen this happen. I predict a downward spiral in an already failing health on Hillary Clinton's part. And within the next 6 months, a year, I think we're really going to see some serious issues come out with Hillary Clinton's health. Here's a picture of her from yesterday. My God, man, what happened? Is that what it looks like? She's been hit. I don't know. Maybe this was a little touched up. I'm not sure. But I did see the picture yesterday. Her hair, remember when she came back for the debates after she collapsed during the 9/11 thing? She came back for the debates, and she was just re-energized, reinvigorated. She had had a complete makeover. Her hair was lustrous and full of body. Her face wasn't as wrinkly or anything. And then she comes out yesterday, and it's the first time we've seen her really since the election. And wow, it looks like I think I stepped over her on the way here. One of the homeless that are out on the streets of New York City. Just not a good thing. This is something Hillary Clinton can't deal with. It's being irrelevant, especially in her field of politics. And what she was doing for her entire life was trading the offices that she has been in, the positions she has held, for money and giving out political favors. That's what she's done. I don't know what she's going to do now. I can't see people paying her the types of funds she was being paid for speeches. For what? They're not going to get anything in return now. Watch her price drop way off. Her and Bill, her husband there, Bill. Watch their prices for speeches drop way off because there's nothing in it for anybody to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're not going to get something in return. Be like, what? Wait, Hillary, what did you think? We wanted to actually hear that voice of yours? We were paying you to hear that? Yeah, there it is. And they won't pony up that kind of money if they're not getting access to the State Department. And just hearing, and I think we can do better. You're going to pay for that? I'm not, unless I'm trying to chase rodents out of my house. That might be a good thing. You could hire Hillary. She'll come to your house, give a speech if you have a rodent or roach problem in your house. That voice, they can't take it. Although for what she's saying, that you might actually bring more in, because that does seem like what's happening these days with her supporters. We heard for how long will Donald Trump and his supporters accept loss gracefully? Will they back the President of the United States, Madam President of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton? And we heard this ad nauseum because they were so smug and so sure that Hillary was going to win. Why? Again, the media, that slug on the sidewalk, that rat rummaging through the garbage, the media, let everybody know that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president. The polls that were run by this same crooked media and presented by this crooked media told us that Hillary was going to be president. Every other indication, and I said this time and time again, every indication I saw from every other source besides the media and the polls that are being presented to you by this media told me Donald Trump would win this election. The sheer numbers of people that were attending everything he did, every rally. He didn't need Beyonce. He didn't need Jay-Z or Bon Jovi or Bruce Springsteen. He showed up and the people showed up, and they were an energized crowd. They weren't a crowd that looked like they were dragged there personally by Hillary to attend her rallies. And that's what we all saw as Trump supporters. They tried to bash it in the media. They lied to us about who was going to win this election. And we all saw. And the biggest doubt I had, and I think a lot of the people out there that did support Donald Trump had as to whether he would win or not, was, were they powerful enough in this crooked, corrupt government and the media to fool us and lie and cheat and steal this election from the majority of the American people that wanted Donald Trump as president? It was definitely in there. We were thinking, hey, this could happen. And as we watched election night, oh, was that just the sweetest thing to watch? Watch all those newscasters that had done nothing but lie about this election for 18 months to us, lie to our faces, have to sit there and eat it, just eat it up. And boy, did they fight it till the bitter end, did they fight those facts. Because that's what it was, coming in, the facts that Trump was winning Florida. He was winning Ohio. He was winning Pennsylvania. And he was going to D.C., yeah! Sorry, every time I mention states, I have to do that. But that's exactly what was happening. He was winning. They were losing their minds. And it was the sweetest thing to watch, because for 18 months, we had to watch them lambast our candidate that said that real change was going to happen. America was going to be great again. And to watch them have to eat it after so long was just so sweet. And getting back to what I started with, will Donald Trump and his followers accept what is going on? Will accept the democratically elected Madam President? We heard this time and time again. Well, she loses, Trump wins. And what do we see instantaneously? Them not accepting Donald Trump as the legally, democratically elected President of the United States. The utter hypocrisy. Oh, look at these brain surgeons. Yeah, there you go. The utter hypocrisy from the left is right in our face. You point it out to them, and they act like it isn't even really happening. There they are, protesting a legal election that has taken place because their person didn't win. It's the only reason. their person didn't win. Effigies of Donald Trump being burned, him being called horrific things before he's even a week into his president-electum. He's not even president yet. Every move he's making is being criticized and looked into with a microscope. He's appointing racists. We'll get into some of what the news is talking about Donald Trump doing in the week since he's been elected right after this. Anthony Cumia here for Alex Jones and Infowars.com. Love it. Love it. Love what Infowars has been doing over the past 18 months of this campaign and the election. Boy, was it just great to watch Alex drinking champagne after the election. There was just a celebratory feel to the whole thing because it not only felt like we were overcoming a political opponent, but it felt like we were overcoming an opponent that was trying to keep us down for so long. And it finally worked out for the silent majority again. All those people just disgusted. And that's what it is. That's what a lot of the left and the media doesn't understand. These are people who have carried this country on their backs for generations. There it is. Oh, I love it. They've carried this country on their backs for generations and never asked for anything except for what this country offers. Opportunity. You work hard, pay your taxes, live responsibly, raise your family, all those things that are common sense that we all know. And this country gives you, in return, opportunity to make something of yourself, to leave your family something in the future. That's it. That's what this country is here doing for you. So nothing more than that was ever asked of the people that this country was resting on their shoulders, the working middle class of America. And it worked out fine for quite a while that way. But when they just started getting crapped on so badly and being told not only are you working and literally supporting this nation with what you do, but you're trash. You're the problem. You're the one making this country a terrible place with your horrid racism and sexism and lack of diversity, lack of inclusion. Oh, the Muslims, this, that. And it's the people that were doing all the heavy lifting to keep this country moving ahead. And finally, they stood up and said, wait, no more. We're doing all this. We're working hard. We're building this country, continuing to make it a place of opportunity. And we're just not going to listen to you calling us garbage and the problem anymore. And we went to the polls, and you know what the results were. I think that's an amazing thing that happened. And it's something the left cannot understand. They can't wrap their hands around. They can't wrap their minds around it. They can't figure it out. So what do? They react in a way that doubles down on what they did to get Trump elected. They are gunning for a second term before he even starts his first term. Keep it up. Keep it up, media. Keep it up, corrupt politicians, and keep it up, the left, the protesters, the Hollywood elite, which we'll get into in the next segment coming up very shortly, because that Hollywood elite, I can't think of a group of people in this country that are more out of touch with what is needed and what goes on in this country than the glittering, sparkling Hollywood elite. It's awful. The students that are protesting having, I kid you not, cry-ins. You know how you have a sit-in had all these inns that protesters have sit in. They're having a cry-in where they sit around. I kid you not, and cry about. There you go. That's typical socialist, communist, liberal. Just cry. There they are. What university is this? It might as well be. It's showing, I believe this is North Korea and the crying population, which, boy, do they have a reason to cry over there. But a cry-in, they're wearing safety pins that normally go on baby diapers. I mean, can it get any more crazy and funny, actually? It's like Alex was saying, you want to rant and rave and rage at how angry you are, but you look at some of this stuff and it's absolutely laughable. They're putting baby diaper clips, safety pins on themselves to identify themselves as comrades in this battle against the horrible right and Trump. Infowars.com. Anthony Cumia, we'll be right back. And here for Alex Jones, Anthony Cumia on Infowars.com. Just before the break, we were talking about the left and how they're dealing with, actually absolutely not dealing with the idea of President Donald Trump. Cornell University is holding a cry-in. A cry-in. This is what we're dealing with in this country. I'm beside myself, as they say. Some of the students are in the quad, sitting in a circle, holding each other, and crying as they react to there it is. Yeah, like an infant. Much like an infant, they are crying over Donald Trump being elected president. One of the students in the cry-in saying, "I'm quite terrified, honestly." It's saying that people are really given into fear-mongering. They are willing to put people down based on their identity just so that they feel vindicated that they would be getting rid of crooked Hillary. I say Hillary, and I cough just like her. It's like the Green Mile. When I say her name, all those bugs, they have to fly out of my mouth because it's just that evilness is in me. They can't take it. Another one says, "I'm concerned how this is validating the behavior of a lot of people." Validating the behavior of a lot of people? I'm concerned too, but I don't think we're talking about the same people. Several adults, mostly professors, stood around the group. The event appeared to take on an atmosphere of a funeral or a wake. How about that? I'd say the results are heartbreaking and such a slap in the face to so many of the populations that make up America, an older woman said. There it is. I think it's also an indication that there are many, many people who are suffering and feel they haven't been heard, and they believe that Trump will answer their need. Yeah, that's actually true. We haven't been heard. Again, the working middle class that I was talking about earlier, they continued to do it. That was always the thing people would say. It's like, well, you won't see them protesting, the working middle class. Well, they have jobs to do. They have places to go. They just roll with the punches and go. Well, finally, it got to be enough. It just got to be too much where we had to come out and say, and here's what happens when we finally have a voice and say something. The other side loses their mind, just loses their mind. Another student said, "How the F is he winning? What the F?" The student said as Trump took the state of Ohio, they just can't grasp it. They honestly think, and still think, that there's this small portion of people in this country that are every type of ist and ism you could think of, that somehow elected Donald Trump into office. They can't fathom that there are enough people that do not think like they do to elect a president. They can't fathom it. They've never been wrong. They've always had the right ideas for this country, and it's completely alien to them to be able to think that there are a bunch of people disgusted with the way things were going, that wanted things changed, that went out and voted with passion, and got things done. And they're like, what? How did? Well, it happened. It happened. And this violence that they're talking about, this is the thing that is just, again, how can I be surprised after watching the media for 18 months do nothing but completely lie to the American people? Not even try to hide that they are lying and that they are biased and that they're trying to brainwash you into believing things that are just completely false. Why would I be surprised they would change after the election? Silly me. I had this thought that they would go, wow, did we screw up? In order to get any credibility and trust back, we have to apologize to the American people and change our tune pretty quickly here. Well, of course not. They're, again, doubling down, lying. And the thing we're seeing now is they're reporting hundreds of cases of racial and sexist attacks on people by Trump supporters because they feel this, I guess this is what they're thinking or saying, they feel this newfound freedom to be the real racist and misogynist that they had to hold in so long. Is this ridiculous? Is this a ridiculous concept that all of these racist, sexist, homophobic people were holding in this hatred and rage and want to commit assaults on people because Obama was president? So they didn't do it. But now that Trump is the president-elect, he's not even in office yet. Now they're pulling knives on people on buses. That's what I've read. That knives are being pulled on people for, by the way, no reason. They just pull knives out. They put on their Make America Great Again hat and start yelling at people on the bus about Donald Trump and how these people don't belong in the country and threaten them with weaponry. Are we supposed to believe this? What would have stopped these people from being on a bus? Let's just go back 3 years ago. Random 3 years ago. You are a crazy racist. You're on a bus and you look around and you go, boy, I sure would like to pull a knife on some of these people and just say how angry I am that they're even here in this country and blah, 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 blah. What's to stop that person? I better wait. I better wait till maybe Donald Trump gets elected. It's so ludicrous to think that these things are happening. So what we see on the news is these vague, false reports of attacks. But they're never physical attacks. We never see anything. Like I was saying to Alex just before, everyone, their dogs, their cats, plants, they all have cameras now. It's true. I saw a rhododendron taking a selfie the other day. Every living thing on this planet has a camera now. Pictures are taken of everything, whether it's the most boring bowl of breakfast cereal or a plane crash and everything in between. It is now photographed, videoed, and popped up online, lickety-split for everyone to see. You are trying to tell me, as the mass media, that all these attacks, they said hundreds of instances of these racial and sexist attacks taking place. And I can't find one. A guy whose job it is on a daily basis to hunt down and search out these incidents that are happening. across the country. And I cannot find anything that resembles a Trump supporter physically attacking someone that didn't support Donald Trump. Can't find it. Now, on the other hand, the thing we have an abundance of is actual recorded evidence of Trump supporters being assaulted by people that obviously did not support Donald Trump and do not support what Trump stands for. There is a lovely high school student assaulted for being a Trump supporter. We saw a gentleman dragged from his vehicle. Well, yeah, that's the one they're saying, hey, wait a minute. There's a Trump supporter dressed in a Freddy Krueger sweater pushing a protester down an escalator. Well, this story came out that this lad was autistic, didn't like the noise that the bullhorn was making, and pushed the guy down the stairs. It had nothing to do with any political affiliation. We see a guy getting dragged out of his car, a la Reginald Denny, if you remember him, beaten, as people are recording it on their phones and yelling, he voted Trump, beat his ass. That's what they were yelling. That, to me, is pretty proof positive. Yes, a gentleman that we just saw gunned down at a bar, outside a bar, after joking he was a Trump supporter. We have a high school student attacked. And then, again, the falsities, the lies. Student reported men beat her, stole her hijab off her head, her Muslim headwear. Well, that, she admitted, was a lie. And we've seen so many of these instances of lying. There are racist signs put up over water fountains in schools, and people take pictures of them. And then I saw one recently, another student from the same school said, I saw you put this on the wall. I saw you take a picture of it. Because it helps their cause to make people think that racists, sexists, homophobes, xenophobes, all of them, are the Donald Trump supporters. That's what it is. And it's dangerous. And it means harm to people that are labeled different. And this is just not happening. Donald Trump has Bannon from Breitbart on his staff advising him. They have said things about this man that is just incredible. Racist. Oh my God, and no one can find anything that really shows that he's this horrible racist. They find headlines about racial crimes, but there's no editorializing in it. This is what happened. You say a group of 5 black teens beat up this white person. Just the fact that you put the race in the story labels you a racist now. That's it. They're what we call hate facts. you ever think there'd be a thing called a hate fact? Well, there is. It's a fact that people don't like on the left because they deem it hateful. A fact is a fact, people. I don't think it could really be a hate fact. But they're out there. They're lying. The media will not stop at anything lying. They are now taking up looking at Donald Trump's activities since he's been elected, who he's meeting with, who he might be appointing to his cabinet, and it's nothing but negative. It's just a slew of negativity no matter what this guy does. And the funny thing is, he decides the other day to go out to have a steak dinner with his family. Can you imagine 18 months under the microscope with the abuse that entire Trump family has taken since he declared his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. It's all over finally. The election happened. Now the actual unbelievable hard work of being president of the United States starts. So he decides, you know what? Let's take a breath. Let's go to dinner. We'll get a steak at Club 21 with me and my family. Well, some reporter is there, takes a picture, and tweets it. So reporters show up from every news agency to Donald Trump and his family eating dinner. When he goes to leave, they give him crap for not, first of all, not informing them that he was going to dinner in the first place. Can you honestly grasp this? They yelled at him for not informing them that he was taking his family to dinner. Then they get mad at him for not staying there and answering their questions. The media that lambasted this man for 18 months are mad that he didn't stick around and answer questions and didn't call them before he went to dinner with his family to maybe take a single breath in between being elected and being the president. That's the media. And they spin it by saying, well, if this shows any of this transparency that Trump has said he's going to have, I doubt it. The same media that didn't utter a peep when Hillary Clinton went completely MIA for the press for about a year and a half until the end of the campaign when she had to start talking to the press. But for a year and a half, just MIA. And we heard nothing about that. Asked questions about the various scandals in her life. Avoided that. That's the media that Donald Trump wants to phone up. Yeah, it's D Trump for a reservation at Club 21. Yeah, it's me and my family. Put it down, about a dozen people. We're going to do that. Yeah. You got a table? Oh, great. We'll be there in about an hour. Oh, also, do you have a table for 400 of the media? Yeah, I'm going to invite them too. Because that's really what I want to do, is sit with the media while I'm trying to enjoy a steak with my family. This is the media that wants to present themselves as informing us. They turn it around and say he's not being transparent. Donald Trump has the greatest uphill battle as president, I think, of any president we've seen since they've been on film, perhaps, since the media has had the opportunity to put them in photographs in front of the people. He is going to be looked at closer and with under more of a microscope by this crooked, corrupt, lying media than any other president ever. And they will turn everything he does into some type of disaster or crime even before he takes office, is exactly what we're seeing. It's an abomination. And if they think they're going to win back the trust of all of those people that elected Donald Trump president, they have another thing coming, because I don't know what they could do at this point. For me, it's done. I will look for alternative means of getting my information. Anthony Cumia. The all-new BrainForce Plus has arrived at InfoWarsLife.com. For more than a year, InfoWars has been working behind the scenes with leading formulation scientists to create the next generation of nootropics. That's what it is, nootropics. BrainForce has been an absolute favorite amongst listeners and InfoWars crew, and has been completely sold out on InfoWarsLife.com for weeks. Now InfoWars Life is taking BrainForce to the next level with BrainForce Plus at InfoWarsLife.com. With BrainForce Plus, you get 20% more capsules per bottle, a brand new supercharger ingredient, black pepper extract, a higher concentration formula for maximum potency, all for the same low price as the original BrainForce. This is the definition of a 360 win, and it's your purchase that helps support the InfoWar. For a limited first run, we'll be selling a on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit InfoWarsLife.com and secure your bottle before we sell out. Ah, yes. Anthony Cumia back. InfoWars.com. Couldn't be happier to be here and talk about the things that are really going on in this country. I was talking about the Hollywood elite, the glitterati. Who are the glitterati? They're the people that glitter, Jerry. The glitterati. Adam Goldberg, I guess, and Lena Dunham have decided to start a thing where they leave a message on Paul Ryan's answering machine, asking him to deny allowing Donald Trump to appoint Bannon to his cabinet in any way, shape, or form. I can't see this working. This is the guy, of course, from Saving Private Ryan, which all of a sudden now, that part where he gets stabbed by the big German soldier, somehow it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. It's not really that bad to watch anymore. But they did this, and what makes the left think that they can dictate what the legally, democratically elected president does? This is their mindset. They are so self-important that they honestly believe they could make Trump, and they've watched Trump for 18 months now. Do you honestly think you're changing his mind on anything he really wants to do? I doubt it. But Hillary Clinton latched on to celebrities. Man, did she think that was going to put her over the top. Lady Gaga, Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce, Jay-Z, blah, 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 blah. Realizing we didn't want celebrities. We wanted a president. We wanted a president that was going to do things for the better, to better this country, for the greater good, as it were. And that's another thing that the left just can't wrap their minds around. We don't care what these pop stars have to say. We don't care. They could have their opinion just like anyone else in this country, but why the left always decides to parade them out, thinking they're going to get to the kids that way, and thinking that that's going to sway anyone's vote? You think anyone that wanted Donald Trump for president was going to be swayed because Bon Jovi was playing his guitar on Hillary's airplane? Do you honestly think we were going to go, yeah, you know what? Forget it. Forget about all that terrorism, ISIS. Yeah, forget it. I like that Bon Jovi. Oh, I love it. Ever hear that I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride song? That sold me. I don't get it. I don't understand how people think like that, but thank God a lot of people weren't fooled, weren't bamboozled. We are looking at a President Trump in January, and we couldn't be happier. I want to thank, of course, Alex Jones and the fine people at Infowars.com. I'm Anthony Cumia. See you next time.